Hey, what's up? Good morning. It is Coffee and Gaming. I'm your host, the Appalachian American. With me, as always, is my boy, Tommy Gunn.
What's up, everybody? Are y'all ready to watch Seth play some video games?
I'm ready to play. That man all the way from down under, the King Roo.
G'day. From the past.
Yeah. And the Blues brother himself, SuperFan out of Shawhan.
How much for the women? Sell me your women.
Let me have your daughter. That last fella is the Collector Express.
Howdy. Here to watch Seth blast some what we're playing tonight? Red Dead Redemption. We're going to get some cowboys and looting and tooting and stealing.
Yeehaw. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Mr. Falcon. You betcha. I love the zombie edition that they had for this game. That was fun.
That was for Red Dead Nightmare, I think. Where's my hat? It's been too long.
Knock your hat off.
Come here, Hooch. That's my horse's name, Hooch.
Good name.
Yeah.
At least you didn't name it Cooch.
Huh?
At least you didn't name it Cooch.
Come on, Cooter.
God, shut up, PlayStation. I can't hear nobody.
Is that his beard or has he got a mask on?
Yeah, it's his beard.
Yeah.
He looks awesome.
Pale rider strides forth. Who's his victim today?
So, question for y'all.
Yo.
If y'all were on death row, what would y'all's last meal be?
All you can eat cheesesteak.
Mine would be a 99-cent frozen pizza and a glass of milk.
So I just keep eating cheesesteak if it's all you can eat. So I just keep on eating.
Anybody else?
Well, I was thinking about that, calling a takeaway from that really expensive burger joint in Dubai. That'll take some time to arrive.
Right. You don't see cows, do you? Best rat burger I ever had.
Kind of sad we're heading toward in cities and major metropolitan areas, we're heading toward a demolition man society.
Mm-mm. Folks, this game is actually your future, so pay attention.
We're talking about future. That's our present. I live in the country.
I'm talking about city folks. This is what happens when you don't have a city anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
I'm hunting.
What you hunting?
Wabbit.
I don't know.
Well, we've seen the deer up behind that log there, although it's a bit further away
North
now.
American raccoon.
Well, you can take him out. Pretty thought you had a deer up ahead, but it's a raccoon, is it?
Lost him. Think.
Whoops.
What was that?
You must have slid right.
Gotcha. Caught that cat with an arrow.
Literally.
Oh, bro.
Oh, we're having Chinese food.
There we go.
Eating the cat. You hit a cat.
Do you want to take out?
That's some good stuff. Cat on a stick. COS.
Get on over here, Hooch.
Might be
Here
a
it
bit
comes.
far away. It's going to take some time. There he comes.
Yeah.
So what you got there?
A raccoon.
No, on the other one.
Oh,
Looks like
there's
big
a.
rat.
I don't know exactly what that is, but we're gonna find out. It ain't. Ooh, dude, he's pooping. Bro, can you not poop in the street? Looks like a bobcat. A cougar.
Yeah.
He long dead. What's y'all want to skin him?
Go ahead.
Not now, girl.
Did y'all know that the Virginia wildlife departments will deny that there's actually mountain lions in Virginia?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do what now?
Virginia Wildlife Department will deny that there's mountain lions in Virginia.
Oh yeah.
And they go, we don't see nothing.
You think that would be like a public safety issue, like lying to people that there's actually very dangerous animals coming into urban areas? But look who runs Virginia.
Well, you know, a state lying to you? Come on. That never happens.
Hey, they got the Roanoke Valley.
Hmm.
Tommy,
Huh?
they got the Roanoke Valley.
Oh, wow.
I am shocked. I am shocked. Government lying? Never. Who's my surprise face?
Especially with people in power in Virginia. Oh, it's shocking.
Yeah.
No,
Here we go.
it's been so long since I've played this game. I don't really remember where anything's at.
That's what makes it fun.
We can go to my ranch. It's right here.
All right. Into the cinematic.
Cinematic camera, because that'll lock me onto a path and I can just take off. Now I don't have to control. But one thing you do have to pay attention though, because you can get robbed.
Or jump by a cougar.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry, we don't have those in Virginia.
There's an elk.
Jesus Christ! Easy, easy.
I can hear him somewhere. Where are you?
I'm curious when they're gonna make a new Red Dead Redemption.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
They're going to sell it to the people that made The Last of Us 2.
Don't do that. That would suck.
They're going to make a woke redemption.
Do you know how bad that would be?
They just
Bisexual,
screenshot.
lesbian, cowgirl / female of color / woman power
You'll be
/
Powerpuff Girl.
And there'll be steampunk cyborgs too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm legit mad that they ruined Last of Us 2. Sucks so bad. I was hoping that game was gonna be good.
I wouldn't mind steampunk cyborgs, but yeah, not Powerpuff Girl cowboys.
But they will only be the women will be the only ones that be badass cyborgs. The men will be like little have little man buns and
Yeah, all the men will be cyborgs and all thieves, and your women going around killing them all.
Yeah, so basically Westworld.
Yeah, yeah, Westworld, kill all the men.
I've kind of wanted
Yeah,
to get into
like
Westworld. Is that any good?
first season's good. Avoid the rest.
Yeah, I've only seen the first season.
Yeah, everybody says that. I've only seen the first season. As they shake.
I just never got around to watching it. Season 2 and 3 came out, and I was watching something else. Can't remember what it was. But yeah, I heard about how bad it was, and I was like, well, maybe I'll watch it and see, and then just never got around to it. Like, yeah, it's all right.
You gotta watch it for a while too, before you realize, wait a minute, they're time jumping. This is not,
Right.
This is not a linear story. Same with The Witcher. The Witcher is not a linear story.
I kind of like The
Like the
Witcher.
Netflix Witcher.
Yeah, the Netflix Witcher, it's a non-linear storyline, so it takes you several episodes, even more so than Westworld, to realize, wait a minute, this is not a linear story.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's got so many flashbacks to the past.
Most episodes are flashbacks. It takes you a while to figure out, oh crap, that episode before happened way after this and back to this, and
Oh,
it jumps from perspective to viewpoints, from one character's perspective to another character's perspective during the flashback. So you don't. It's easy to get lost in the story.
Yeah, you got to pay attention, that's for sure.
Like this game, you've got to pay attention to the ambient music because it actually now and again you get a bird, pretty much indicates safety, but then it goes quiet on you, and the music shifts tone. Here we go, something up ahead. She's in a safe zone, so the bird treats.
huh?
Bird tweeted, so you're in a safe zone. There's something up ahead, though. It moved. Near that tree.
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of animals. I was going to kill me a deer.
Yeah. There we go.
Gotcha.
Oh! Maybe, well, since you played, the game's not off.
Got him from a moving animal. That sucks. The poor. I didn't get him very good. Heartlands.
Gonna make some sausage.
Need something for my dead eye.
About some deer sausage.
Yeah, it would be good.
Some of the best stuff I've ever had was deer salami.
Ooh.
My oldest sister, her ex-husband was a truck driver, and he was an avid hunter. And for traveling, he had like salami made.
Yeah.
Like a summer sausage salami type. That stuff was good.
You know what to do, girl.
Let's go up here and see if there's any way we can get in this house.
That's why you never leave your front door unlocked, folks.
Unless you're leaving it unlocked on purpose and you're sitting there waiting.
That's
Very
right.
odd.
The outhouse. Occupied. You could walk past a bunch of flowers.
Hey, there's Solid Metal Pro. Man, we got a lot of people on here. What's up, man?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
You doing all right?
I had a bit of a spur moment. We was talking anime at home, and then was talking about. I brought up the trashiest anime I ever saw, and I hate that show so much that I just went on a tangent again.
What show was it?
God, I don't even want to name the anime because I have a feeling that if I do, I'm gonna say a lot of things you guys are not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about. It's just gonna get awkward.
I don't know. I know quite a few anime.
Oh God, Tap knows which one. I know he's not on. I don't think he's on, but fucking hell. It's one. Okay, I'm just gonna say the name and we leave it at that because if we start talking about it, I will go on a tangent. Okay, it's called Big Order, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not saying anything else. No more. Done.
Oh, just missed that rabbit. Rascally rabbit.
It ain't a rabbit.
It's not about your big order, but do you find it annoying as well that every animated show on Netflix they call it an anime?
Hey
Yeah,
there,
that's getting a bit. That's getting a bit on the nose.
fire is good and hot.
Just because it's animated doesn't make it anime.
Yeah, now they're calling stuff American anime, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, Mr. Woke, you're culturally appropriating.
Okay, so you know what? I'm willing to have this conversation, and it's actually a very good one because
Got a girl, mister?
you know what I think kind of
No.
started that whole stupid craze was, remember the show Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Okay, great show. It has very few dud episodes.
My eye on one, though.
Fantastic, right?
Hunting north of Vannesburg when I
And the
came.
thing is that for the longest people, because again, because of the art style, people debated whether to call it an anime or not. And to be honest, the argument can be made for and the arguments can be made against.
I see how you like them too, friend.
But there's just certain things to me that anime needs to have to feel like anime,
But
not
no,
just the art
but
style.
turns out she's a widow.
But
She asked me to leave, but in a real
it's just one of those it opened a Pandora's box is what I'm trying to get at. It's really kind of a hard discussion to have, but believe me, yes, I hate that everything now yes, that we have a category of American anime.
place I could
If
read
it's slightly animated, it has to be called anime.
warm bed every night.
If it's written by Westerners,
It all.
it's not anime. That's the easiest solution.
Yeah.
Look, even the
All right, I need to calm down a bit.
is manhwa Chinese or Korean?
You know,
Manga is Japanese.
Yeah, no, manga is Japanese. I'm saying manhwa.
Oh, manhwa.
Yeah, is
we
that
met before someplace.
Chinese? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't call it it was Americans who used to call it Chinese anime for the but you hardly get any translated series out of China on Netflix anymore. But they've changed it back to to Chinese cartoons. But there's Korean stuff too that's been called anime, but it's actually its own style. Because that's what anime was. It was a style.
Just stay there.
But as a poorly defined style. Because originally, to be anime, you first had to start as a Japanese manga.
Yes.
Yep.
And because of Disney owning a couple of manga studios, not entirely, but like they own 20% of Chibi Studios, that's what they set the limit at: 20% foreign content.
No.
You better cut these damn ropes.
So basically, Disney wants to call the shots in terms of what is going to be considered anime, what isn't.
Yeah.
First they got to get the permission by China what they can do though.
Well,
I mean, even China's getting in on anime now.
that's what I said before.
I mean, they kind of were, but they know what notes to hit to make sure that it still feels authentic. Like it feels like you would watch an anime, and if you didn't know better, you would have assumed they came straight from a Japanese studio.
That's right. They stick to the established anime color palette.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have clearly defined lines. That the perspective does change. Nothing's exact. Nothing. Only faces are symmetrical. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They are the masters of the knockoff.
They are. They are masters indeed. They are masters of copycatting.
They knock off full-on cars in China.
Oh yeah, I've seen Chinese Lamborghinis on the what was it? Alabama or something? Alabama. The 40 Thieves internet. China's eBay. They got everything now. They're not even hiding the fact that they knock things off anymore.
The only people that's in danger of knocking stuff off in China are people that try to knock off Disney IPs, which Disney has a
Disney has a
working
Chinese
relationship
office.
with the government.
Yeah. We protect. Yeah. In other words, they pay the toll.
Yeah. It's like there's a company that used to be called Wei Zhang. They made some really nice figures. They took like a Hasbro designs, and they had like an independent designer upgrade them, make them nicer.
Yep.
They would like add more articulation, make them bigger figures. They did a lot of Transformers, but they made a mistake. They copied an Iron Man. When they copied Iron Man, Disney IP, then
they had a
all
Beijing
the
office.
people of Beijing got arrested.
Yeah, because they had a Beijing office. They pay the toll.
Yep.
Pay government protection, you get protected. That's what government is. It's racketeering.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. China's taken it to a new level. But I've got a Chinese power. I've got a Chinese Power Ranger, the Chinese Yellow Power Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
They made a show that featured. China used to have a knockoff of the Power Rangers before Hasbro opened up an office in China.
Yeah, Hasbro. Well, Hasbro is the owner of Power Rangers now.
Yes.
If Disney was, they'd be in trouble.
No. They did when after they stopped production of the show after 1 year because Hasbro opened up an office in Shanghai and Beijing.
Ah.
A lot of American companies have IP lawyers in China now.
Yep. That damn China. Always finding ways to get in on the new market. If you was expecting me to say more bad things about them, I just couldn't think of any right now.
I was giving you a chance, but we love your rants, man. Come on. Find one.
Okay. I mean, right before this, though, but I mean, we've talked about this already before. Right before this, I was watching another live stream for a little bit because I was doing a few other things. Just catching up with my brother and whatnot. And they was talking about, like, just how bad the military here is going to get pussy whipped soon enough. Actually, right now, I can't even say soon enough. It's already happening.
Oh, yeah.
Red High Hill days. Yep.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like, and I'm talking about, like, the levels of depressing bad. Like damn. These are the people that we're going to be counting on protecting and serving us. Like, holy shit. I'm going to just have to fucking learn how to defend. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say defend myself on my own in case if anybody else is listening to us. But I will learn how to be a strong and independent. And because this is New York City, I can identify as whatever the hell I want. And it is legal.
Strong, independent, super straight.
Thank you. I was going to say person of color because I couldn't think of anything else, but that works too. and technically, I would not be wrong with person of color. So, you know what? By using their logic,
super straight person of color.
I'm a strong, independent, super straight person of color. And if you say anything against me, then you is the racist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's the race card, everybody. Verified.
I swear, I'm gonna end up one of these days running for political office, and I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna just run with that, just run with that shit. And as soon as like, oh well, but why are you bringing up the race card? And I'm gonna be like, why? Because, and I'm gonna just tell them flat out, you and your constituents have been doing this for years. So all of a sudden now somebody else decides to use it. Now it's no longer fair game. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. LMP is gonna run this fucking railroad right through you.
Hey, you telling me you're not racist? That's racist because you're not identifying your inherent bias, and you're racist by dismissing my concerns.
Exactly.
Getting arguments ready for you, getting your arguments lined up for you.
And you know what? At that point, I will start calling them all sorts of names. And if it makes me sound like a belligerent asshole, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. At least I'm gonna go down fighting. At least I'm gonna take a couple swings here and there and just really expose it for what circus really is. At least Pizza, what was it? P.T. Barnum. at least he knew how to entertain an audience. So you know what? If it's gonna be a circus, it's gonna be a shit show. At least let's give the crowd something to go home with a smile on their face.
Don't forget your elephant repelling rock.
So
Yep. You can't use that. It's copyright. I think Disney owns that.
So I found this perverted cat, and I don't know what to do with him. So that's why I'm paused and trying to find out what's going on.
Wait, what?
It was this pervert cat. He was taking pictures of chicks. So I hogtied him and stuck him on the back of my horse.
Now he's got a.
But I don't know what I should do with him.
Are there any
rope in a tree?
You got a cliff you can go by and drop them off?
You have to do You have to like do certain things in order to get like
He's
honor
looking for
and
the
rewards.
Yeah,
he's looking for the points, not the hanging.
Yeah. If there's nothing come out of it, I'll just kill him.
Yeah, if there's no bounty, he's looking up the bounties.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. If there's a bounty for him, I'll turn him in.
Oh, great!
Collect the money.
Get paid.
Yeah.
Get paid to hang people. That's the American way, folks.
Listen, you have like over 51% of the population making money at the most basic thing that they can't do right. So why not, right?
What you're talking about? You're talking about OnlyFans?
I was hoping someone would catch on. I didn't want to make it too on the nose now.
They can't get that right. Yeah.
First of all, again, I like how they monetize themselves for a service.
And then complain that nobody treats them like royalty. Yeah, well, you don't act like it.
We call a hooer a hooer. That's just as simple as it is.
For the price that I'm paying, I would expect quality service. I'm getting. Thank God I don't pay for any of this stuff because I've heard the stories, and it's like, okay, you guys are paying money for this. This isn't even quality.
Yeah, I've seen better strippers in the windows of Bangkok brothels. You know.
Okay, and okay, for
that's
the price
a free show.
What is it like? Okay, so for the price that I've heard stories of like what they've sold on, like what is being sold online, how it's being monetized. I'm like, if you really are that much of a desperate, well, for those of you that knows what a NEET is, if you're that much of a desperate NEET, incel, weeb, whatever you want to call yourself or identify. Buy yourself some anime figures. There are some quality ones you can get for the same price of anywhere between $50 to $200 that you probably simp out to some chick online, and they will love you longer than that piece of meat that's not gonna age well. By the way.
Yeah, want a female voice around the home? They sell an AI now.
I was up north of Themensroomislive when I came across this cabin.
Yeah. This is what happens when LMP's been quiet for a very long time.
What's the Otaku clock? It's the Otaku clock. It's got a female voice. You can you program what it wants to say. What do you want it to say when you want it to say it?
That was actually pretty interesting to try out.
Yeah. But they have been promising now for a while to merge the voice-aid AI with sex dolls. But since the Japanese sex dolls are now illegal in Australia, God damn you!
Well, it makes no difference now.
I feel bad for you, Aussies. You somehow survive like 8-foot tall spiders, but you can't survive third wave feminism.
No.
Age are right.
Yeah.
What's it?
We came out here from the city in search of.
What's it matter if some weeds are buying sex dolls?
Because the women are upset that men aren't paying for strippers and hookers anymore.
But I thought it's
wandering in indulgence. We wanted
misogynists to go to like do that, but now it's a bad thing if you don't do it.
That's right.
What a pair of fools.
Okay.
So you know that the whole stigma is that of course if you're a guy and you can't
get
laid or something like that, there's something wrong with you, right? So some men said, screw that. there's a doll over here. It has a hole. It has the necessities on it. It has the equipment. It doesn't give me any of the bitch slap that I get from dealing with you. It gives it, and it doesn't take away from my life by arguing back with me. All I gotta do is give it some proper maintenance, and I can have my way with it, and it won't complain. It will be, as obedient as you want it to be, basically. So, a couple of land whales over there, i.e., all of them in Australia, basically sound like they got really salty about it. That men are realizing they have an out instead of being, forced into marriage or forced into these relationships that would just be detrimental to their health. So this is why so Australia decided to just be ahead of the curve with everybody else and ban that stuff over there. But what they're doing over there is also making its way over here and other parts of it where whamanism is loud and
whamanism is all connected because intersectionality is interconnected globally through the Open Society Network. So, thank you, America.
All right, so apparently there was nothing. So he's getting killed.
All right, he's heading for the hill for a swing.
How should he die?
Okay.
Anybody up
what
for
are
options?
I say push him off a cliff.
You can feed him to pigs.
Ooh, that one.
Ooh.
You can feed him to gators.
Ooh.
I like the pigs better. Pigs more efficient.
We can drown him.
Yeah.
Throw him in a campfire.
I say we drown him, then you burn him, then you feed him to the pigs.
Can you do that, Seth?
Maybe.
You gonna try?
Yeah, I gotta find some pigs first.
All right. So this is gonna be like the most violent rendition of Babe, Pig in the City ever.
Mm-hmm.
Babe, the deleted scenes.
Speaking of Babe, you guys ever watch a show called Freakazoid? They made a joke about that.
Oh yeah.
I love Freakazoid.
There's a joke about that where there's like, you guys want to watch Babe? It's about a cute pig that slaughters the English. Us Babe heart.
Dude, when I was a kid, when I would run, I would put my hands up in the air and go whoosh.
Runs around in his underwear. Freakazoid.
That dude was cool.
I always like the part where they mentioned the chimpanzee in the theme song.
Chimpanzee.
Just for no reason whatsoever. Freakazoid, chimpanzee. Like, it was such like an out of place moment, but it felt so real. It felt so good in that show.
I love the finale had Norm Abram, the woodwork smith.
I think I remember that episode because I think I remember watching almost every episode of that show.
I love that show.
Here we go.
It was clever.
Cows,
horses. It was silly, but still clever. Now, there's no such thing as that for kids anymore.
There's some pigs.
Because back then, people knew how to fucking write creatively.
Yeah. Well, it's not become like a cesspool like it is now. It's basically.
Oh, no, that's cheap.
The animation industry anymore, in the U.S. industry, is basically a circle jerk. They all the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get fired. One company goes under, and they just go to the next.
Yeah. Yep. They don't hire the best people. They hire my buddy Steve or
no, they're too busy hiring the cheapest labor out of the arts colleges.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
And all the arts colleges are turning out SJWs.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yo, so what's the deal with lamb chop here?
And they're telling them, you're the majority now. You've got to take over the companies. And of course, they all think they're going to take over the company and make millions of dollars. But how can you? There's no product. Nobody's buying it.
Nobody gives a shit about your shit products.
What gets me is the lie they tell too. Is like, well, kids nowadays like this ugly, like the cow art style art. No, they don't. That's all you produce.
See, the thing is, when it was just Rocco's Modern Life, it was cute and quirky.
But even
when everybody copied it,
better than what they have now.
That's true, but when everybody copied it, it lost its flavor. So instead of going backwards, and it's actually called the Picasso style, and when everybody went backwards and said, no, we don't want this Picasso style on everything, well, they just started twisting it into more and more cut and paste.
If you don't like that style now, they just scream at you. It's not meant for you. It's meant for kids.
Yeah, but ironically, a lot of those that style gets used a lot for a lot of adult animation shows. So it's like, pick or choose. You can't pick and choose one already. Stop fucking flip flopping.
Yeah, when you label Rick and Morty PG-13, you're not for kids. Because you have censored episodes.
Right.
First of all, Rick and Morty is a show, in my opinion, that was good for one season, and then afterwards, in my opinion, I couldn't watch the second season, much less the third season.
Oh, it's the third season.
I have a bunch of friends that are like, Rick and Morty's like the greatest ever. And I'm just like, bro, like it's not that good.
Bro. Exactly.
Bro, like if you really want some good humor, just look up like any video on the Rick and Morty fandom. They put the most cancerous fandom at one point was the Sonic the Hedgehog fandom. Let that sink in. Rick and Morty outclassed them.
Yeah, I don't get it. Actually, thing is, the Sonic the Hedgehog is the closest we're going to get to a good Flash movie, other than Flashpoint animated, but that's it. So you got two good Flash movies. That's it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I gotta understand why that fandom had a bad rap, and to be honest, I was a spurred child for most of my life too, so I can kind of see where it was coming from. But the problem, at least the thing there was that at least it was an established franchise that had so much source material to work with. Rick and Morty only came out for one season, and in that one season alone, all of a sudden now it got so many followers that fell so head over heels for it so fast that it's like you completely forgot that other things existed. So it's like it's an overglorified fad that they haven't gotten out of. It's like they're still fucking playing with yo-yos or the fidget spinners or whatever else is a fad nowadays.
They're always they're weird. Always one step behind the current fad. Fidget spinners are out of fad. It's Bane Blades now, and that's a dying fad. And they're still stuck on fidget spinners, and they're starting to trade their fidget spinners for Bane Blades, and and all the kids are giving away their Bane Blades now and they're going to the new handheld games. The new Sony handhelds. That's the fad now.
Really? That's the fad now?
Yeah, the retro games, because they're so cheap.
Yeah, I've noticed that Tamagotchi is becoming like a thing again. Because I see that they're rebranding them too. Like they put it like with new characters and different franchise Tamagotchi.
Yeah, different franchises. They've got girls watchers, boys watchers. They've got the singing and dancing ones. Nintendo's really experimenting right now.
Oh yeah, Nintendo and I got to give them take off my hat to Nintendo. They really took they took advantage of a terrible situation with the pandemic and everything that the effects of the pandemic, not the virus itself. I'm pretty sure someone out there would want to correct me, but the effects of it and how it's been hitting economies and whatnot. And they managed to still produce quality quality products, games, and experiment with new ideas and whatnot. So somehow they determined, like, listen, there's still going to be a market for us no matter what. We're not going to let up and give you a shit product. We're at least going to make sure that during these tough times, we'll give you something that's worth your $60, $70. And that much I got to say, thank you so fucking much, Nintendo.
Yeah, they took a $5 handheld that is 40 years out of date.
Yep.
And they rebooted it with modern technology, proper microprocessing, you know what I mean, instead of analog, and a mini controller so you can actually go up, down, left, right.
Yep.
And on top of that, they modernised the characters. They actually spent the time to hand draw new characters. You don't get that with Sony anymore. You never got that with Disney. I just don't think
speaking
it's
of
loyalty
Sony.
to Disney.
Yo.
Sony once upon a time was a quality product.
Yeah.
Disney was
Sony-
always a cheap knockoff.
Sony's now a Western company.
That's what happened. When they diversified the American holdings, the American Sony took over.
So they censor actual good games, but they don't censor Last of Us
Bad
2.
games. Yeah. They don't censor the bad ones because they can't sell them.
Was it the volleyball game with the bouncing boobs? They censored that game.
Dead or Alive?
Yeah, they censored that game, but they showed a full-on sex scene in The Last of Us 2.
Because they can't sell that.
Okay, so here's the thing about that beach volleyball game. It's just really mostly jiggle physics and specifically the girls from the Dead or Alive fighting game series, which I'm pretty sure a lot of warm-blooded straight men, super straight men especially, want to see those jiggle physics in action. What's her name? Kasumi being the best one there. Listen, something about that brunette. I don't know what, but something about her, man. Anyways, moving on. It really isn't like full on nudity or anything like that I know of. So to say you're gonna censor a game like that because it's M-rated is still kind of pointless. It's stupid. Like there's really not much to censor there, and it's a game that's M-rated. It's on the fucking box. What content you're getting. So if you're a parent that buys that for a kid, you're the retard. You're the moron, right?
Well, The Last of Us 2 don't tell you there's an anal sex scene in it.
No, and that's one of the things that they force you to watch. That's what it is.
Because it's WAP, and we won't go past that.
First of all, that song is trash. The woman that sings that song is trash. The
actor's trash.
Prostitutes in that song or video are trash human beings.
The producer's trash.
They literally were prostitutes.
Yes, I know.
One time in their life.
I know they're actual prostitutes. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
And the most rich part about that is the said singer. We can even call her that, or rapper, or whatever she wants to call herself, identify as.
Prostitute.
Said it herself. She doesn't want her own daughter listening to her own music.
Yeah, she sings a song, and she plays the jingle, but doesn't play the actual song.
Yeah.
Now here's the really shitty part. Breast physics has been banned in some countries. Street Fighter V has been censored now.
Yep.
Jiggle physics. They want to ban jiggle physics in the US.
Well, Mortal Kombat went woke.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat went woke, and
they try to explain it's like these idiots have never seen actual real fighting before. That's running Mortal Kombat now. Well, it's like all the male characters are still wearing their shirtless, or what the characters that had them before. They still have that look, but the women are now like fully like from the neck down, fully covered. It's like, well, fighters in a Mortal Kombat scene wouldn't want to be covered, have their skin exposed like that.
Yeah, they have one scene where one of the fighters rips his shirt off, and it looks like he has a double quad piece on, right? That's fine because they updated him to have ripped abs and big muscles, and they're saying, yeah, that's a real fighter. And then Chun-Li comes on and she does her bounce, and her infamous bounce, and it's like no bounce, and it's like what?
That's Street Fighter.
That's Street Fighter, but they do. Sorry, I forgot the name of the character who does the flip. You see the flip, and she bounces. That's changed.
What made that little?
Sonya's bounce is gone. That's right. Yeah.
But what's one that made it funny? One of these woke game journalists went on a rant is because Chun-Li was not in the trailer for Mortal Kombat.
And then
was rich. That was really good.
That was rich because CBR was also it was CBR, wasn't it? And because that was rich because a month earlier they ripped into him for having breast bounce for breast bounce, you know. So they took the female characters out. It's like, say what?
They try to like they were getting so they don't care they screwed up so bad because they were getting traffic to their side. So people were laughing at them. They try to like say, "Oh, it was a joke. We were just kidding." No, you weren't.
Bullshit. They got caught, and the thing was that yes, they do appreciate the fact that they're getting traffic, but it's kind of like they're getting attention, but unwanted attention. So when they realized they were getting the unwanted attention that they didn't want,
do you know what we used to have it? Yeah.
They can't handle criticism, which is the other problem that plagues their lives. They basically were like, "Oh no, it's a joke. It's a joke." No, it wasn't a joke. You didn't even know who Chun-Li was. You just threw that name out.
It's like a martial arts fighting game. She's Asian, so like, oh my gosh, they didn't include the Asian girl that in the game.
Wrong franchise, bro. Wrong franchise.
A chunk of the characters in Mortal Kombat are Asian.
Yeah.
And actually, Mortal Kombat is probably
they censored
the most diverse fighting game out there. Actually, no, Street Fighter is too. But in reality, most fighting games are pretty diverse. So that's a pretty dumb statement that I just made.
But Street Fighter was censored in the 90s because they used to have the guy, the sumo wrestler when he does the double leg bounce. He used to have his dong fly down between his legs. All the female fighters used to have nipples and breast bounce, and they censored that in the 90s. So what came out? Games with skins. We used to didn't have the internet then. You had to dial up into what's called a BBS, and you had to join an adult account, and you would find all these skins for games.
Nude Raider, I remember that.
Yeah, nude upgrades. Well, you know what happened to all those? The European Parliament upheld a copyright law that outlawed skinning games. To this day, a lot of game skinners still go to jail in Europe. It's freaking out, man.
It's poor shit.
Yes, just like when they did the DMCA. Like, what was the purpose of it? Was really just to protect Apple because people were learning how to jailbreak shit, and that was it. They realized, hey, here's our way that we can get that overly expensive stuff that Apple's selling on their stupid app store. Any of these other items that I can't get, I have to pay for because it's behind a paywall. Well, guess what? There's a way I found around it. It's technically not illegal, so I can do it, but they didn't have all the content. So they created one.
Yeah.
That's really what it was.
It's like that. Remember the early Chinese games? They used to download all the Western games and reskin them.
Yep.
Because they were more than 10% changed. They weren't copyright, so they changed the digital laws to protect the code.
Yeah.
But that
happens a lot nowadays, especially. Even Nintendo's guilty of going after like free ROM hacks and whatnot. It's things. And granted, again, it's a scumbag thing to do, really, especially if nobody's making money off of it. But at the same time, I mean, it's within the confines of the law. I'm not trying to just defend Nintendo just to defend them, but at the same time, unfortunately, the law is what it is, and this is one of the things people seem to forget, and is one of the reasons why they always gravitated to the whole Sony is better, Microsoft. Well, Sony especially, because nobody really gave a shit about Microsoft after the 360. Oh, Sony is better because they don't go after you for streaming their content and doing all these things. I'm like, you say that 10 years ago. Where are we now 10 years later? Where are we now 10 years later with Sony?
We have now, where we are 10 years later, we now have Twitch checking people to see whether or not their Twitch users are on OnlyFans because they're using their breast jiggles on Twitch to promote their OnlyFans accounts.
Yeah, and yet we don't see any of these broads getting banned for things that are happening within a video game. Ironically, by being on a gaming streaming site, and let's face it, the only reason why that's happened is because they you got these simp moderators that feel like, oh, I have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
you
the
do
meme.
have a chance.
I've seen the meme. Two guys in Twitch shirts with hearts in their eyes, looking at the whack girl, cash me out girl. You know, I've got a chance. I got flowers. One's got flowers. One's got hearts in it. Yeah, it's a dig at Twitch, but that's exactly what's going on. They're cutting people out for playing a Sony game, and yet they have girls who are jiggling their breasts and promoting their OnlyFans on Twitch while allegedly gaming.
And ironically, without any, excuse me, because I'm saying this all wrong. Ironically, without any gameplay, without any actual video game gameplay. So let that sink.
It's on the games. They're streaming Sony promotions.
In some of those streams, they don't present anything game related. It's just them in front of a camera for like
to get around the restriction. Oh, they have the background with something, one of the Sony posters or something.
I'll be honest, I never even noticed, and I didn't care to, because I will say this. For you desperate men out there that resort to this as entertainment or getting your fix, while it's still free, there's plenty of porn sites out there you can visit, and if that doesn't do it for you, there's plenty of hentai sites.
And some of those hentai sites have live streaming.
Yes.
You get real live chicks from other countries outside the US, use a VPN, and you will see Japanese streaming. Change your location to Korea, you'll get Korean streaming.
And these girls know how to actually play video games.
Yes.
Jesus, like, if you're going to at least...
Yeah, if you want to watch a naked chick stream, at least do it on a VPN overseas for free.
And at least play a damn game. Okay, don't get me wrong. If I have to watch and possibly give money to some chick online that's playing a video game, at least, I mean, it's being naked or whatever, at least play a damn video game or something.
Yes.
So that might be the most interesting game of Pong I'll ever watch.
Yes. I don't care if it's 2D Pong. Just play a game.
Be like, wow, the ball's still bouncing between that short cleavage. Yeah.
I like the super streamers they have in Japan. The ones who actually they're sitting here like this, and the game is overlaid in front of them, like semi-transparent.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like sometimes you can see a boob, sometimes you can see something else, sometimes you're not sure what you're seeing, but there's a game being played, and you can hear them giggling and talking. You may not understand them, but they're actually doing something.
Yes, I have to say I've seen a few of those.
They're earning their $100,000 a month.
Yes, they're at least giving you the product that you're going there for. The fact that they're a cute chick is just an added bonus.
Yeah. I forget the name of it, but they mimic Idol Masters, the manga. They actually have ratings. They tell you how much these girls earn. They actually work for companies. These are uber professionals. OnlyFans is for amateurs.
Let
Japanese
that be
uber professionals at let's say upvaluing streaming.
So, Rue, are you telling me you have an OnlyFans?
No. I go to sites that have VPN sites on the Tor network, get the passwords, and look at the content to see which idiot is doing what on the top 10, and like it's just for a laugh to see all these idiots, begging for their lives for these girls to drop their panties.
And Rue don't got to worry about it. Prostitution's legal basically in Australia, so he's good. He can go get himself a woman if he absolutely wanted to. Yeah, I have more faith in Rue. He's doing it for the entertainment laugh of it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the streaming and looking at all these people laughing there, like laughing, because I could go to a VPN and literally go around the world, and there are so many streaming sites with free content. Who needs to go to OnlyFans? I don't understand it.
You know what would be fun to see? Somebody review OnlyFans accounts. Like somebody literally go on OnlyFans and review somebody's OnlyFans profiles and just really start
Like
going.
that anime? Then they go from brothel to brothel?
Kind of like that, yeah. So it'll go from one chick like, yo, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion on her. These photos are terrible. Listen, it don't even look right, guys. Look at it. Like, look at this photo right here. Like he'll go like it's a detail with a bikini shot. Be like, listen, this is not how you take a bikini shot. Okay, this is not doing anything. Like, and this is like this color that she could pick, the worst pattern, the worst type for her body. I give this chick a 4.5 out of 10. And just go to town with something like that and make that a thing. So much that you're gonna hear like this level of salt come from the OnlyFans community of why are these men giving away our stuff for free, and then also why are they criticizing us?
You're a toxic male.
You're promoting toxic masculinity. I'm a proud and beautiful female. No, you are not,
You're
sweetheart.
oppressing women.
You are not a beautiful female. You're OnlyFans. Your argument is moot.
Yeah. Let's see. I have the top 10 classics here of what is considered beauty throughout the ages.
Okay.
And none of you come up to that standard, so moving on. No, I should dig it out. I still think I've got it somewhere, a digital copy of the all the different artworks throughout the ages of all the different beauties from the ages.
Really?
What they look like, yeah. It's an art book somewhere. I might have it still. My father's, and I think I forget where he got it. It was one of these classic trained art book things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Ironically, the thing that a lot of these progressives and hipsters and all these professional victims always cite as their inspiration to make a better world is the very same thing that would destroy their entire narrative. I don't understand why they talk so much.
Yeah,
we finally
go
got to
sleep
kill
with
him.
fishes.
What happened?
We finally getting to kill him.
Yeah, I couldn't find a pig, so we're gonna find an alligator.
We just get to the killings.
Y'all been talking this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking for. I've been trying to find a pig pen.
And he's gonna feed him to the hogs, man, because he's a pig. So what do you do with a filthy pig?
While we were talking.
Just throw him off the Grand Canyon and see how long it takes for him to hit.
Well, I see a couple alligators up here.
I was to say that, or throw him off the Grand Canyon and see how well he bounces.
That's true.
Not very.
Yeah, here we go. That suspicious log up there.
I got a hog for you, Mr. Gator.
Gator, I got a Florida man for ya.
Damn it! What was that alligator cartoon?
Wally Gator.
Wally Gator. Nah, but I don't remember that one that fondly. The
Watch
one
out.
I remember is Gila Gorilla. And, never mind.
Oh yeah.
Did he
Just
kill
take
him with
his
one
head?
bite?
Took his head.
Yep,
Yep, took his head off.
that was fast.
Yeah. I figured they was gonna like bite and roll. Like
Yeah,
they
oh
did.
shit.
I figured they would have, but I think he died a while back. I don't know because he stopped putting up a fight.
He's hog-tied, so probably the Gator is like, nah, just take his head on board. I'm playing football with it.
Have y'all played? I've been playing Skyrim, and have y'all ever heard the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger"?
Oh yeah, I've heard that often. They say that about everything except for heart attacks.
But the game is basically based on that. Like, if you start out like you keep getting hurt, but you don't die, you eventually become immune to getting hit by stuff. Slowly.
Really?
And then you just basically, at the end of Skyrim, you're like a tank. You could just like mow through people.
They're like DC Comics Doomsday.
Yeah.
The more you hit him, the harder he gets.
Doomsday will evolve past whoever kills him.
Yeah.
Which surprised me.
That's what you get for not entertaining us, Gator.
Right?
You gonna skin it?
Yeah.
Can we make it into a leather wallet?
Well, let me loot him while I'm over here.
Yeah, Tommy's done a gaming stream before on his own with Skyrim.
Oh, he still got his
It's actually
head.
an interesting game. Should get you back on to do it, Tommy.
Superman versus Batman.
Yeah.
Is they show the main villain at the very end, like he just no screen time of the main villain.
That's because he was thrown at the last minute.
That's graphic.
Well, that dude's got some super strength. It's skinny.
Now, what is he gonna do with the skin?
Well, this is a Georgia man.
How the? Yo, he did that without effort.
There's its eggs.
I'm gonna eat me some gator eggs.
Get you some gator meat while you're at it. Shit.
Yeah, fry up some gator steaks.
Yeah, man.
Never had any. How are they?
Tastes like chicken.
I've had turtle. That's about it.
I've only had the gator bites, which is like they're kind of like chewy chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I had gator bites.
Interesting. If I ever go down
good.
south, I'll be sure to have some.
They're good, but for the price.
I think gator would be better if you just smoke it like a pig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah.
Well, have you seen where people are smoking watermelon now? They call it. Yeah,
All right, I'm out of here. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big thing now. They put like maple syrup and stuff on it, and they smoke it.
Sounds awful.
Oh gosh.
But they call it watermelon candy because it kind of crystallizes.
Right.
Okay, you're not heading towards your horse. You're heading towards another gator.
Oh man, the stuff that I've learned today.
I know, but I gotta find like a way back. Because it's dark now and I can't see where I'm going.
You're going the opposite direction. The horse is behind
I'm just
you.
trying to get to the road. If I can get to the road, I can shoot up and get to my horse.
Does any of y'all own an air fryer?
I do.
I have one. I barely use it.
That's me. When I first got it, I tried to find any and everything I could to try to air fry it. And now I don't even touch it.
Chicken legs are the best thing to do in the air fryer. It's so easy.
It's good for medium. It's good for small to medium stuff. Yeah, like legs.
I have one of the larger ones where you can use it as a toaster oven as well.
Yeah.
And,
Here's the horse.
Hey, Collector
Yeah.
Express.
Yeah.
Collector Express. You'll need to get Seth to. You need to bring Seth a steak to cook for you one time.
Oh, I got a grill out front too. I grill all the time.
Yeah.
I don't
Go
know
get
what
Tommy
he did.
back
I
on
brought
the
him steaks
oven.
one time to cook. 'Cause we had like a cookout thing, and I don't know what he did to it, but it was one of the best steaks I've ever had.
Love me some ribeye.
Me too. Me too. Oh crap.
Yeah, man. Speaking of all this food right now, I could definitely go for either a steak or a burger.
That's what I had this evening. Burgers.
Oh man.
Now, did anybody try the Burger King burger, the vegan burger?
No.
No. Hell no. People have actually choked on that plant.
When I made the burgers
Oh.
this evening, I made it the man way. I used bacon grease in the pan before I put the burgers in.
Nice.
People
I don't
have
remember what I
cooked
put on
that
that
plant.
steak there, Tommy. I don't remember.
It was one of the best. I'm not even lying. Like I even told Chris, I was like, man, I wish Seth would have made this steak.
You know what gets me? It wasn't long ago that all these women were out there, all the Karens were complaining about artificial flavouring, and then out comes plant steaks and they go, oh, artificial flavouring good now.
Well, you got to be careful when you go to a restaurant and get a steak because they actually take pieces of steak and glue them together, basically.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, they've been. I forget what they call it. They take fillet cuts. They take my cheap fillet cuts and glue one on top of the other.
Yeah, they'll glue steaks together and sell it to you, and the glue actually is known to cause cancer. But they
I've never heard of that.
And they said it's, but they approve it for you to eat. It says it's edible glue, basically.
That's why I don't eat steaks out in the restaurant anymore. I just buy my own steaks and grill them.
Well, I'm getting to the point now where food service is just starting to suck. It's just better to stay at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, come on, Tom. We know for a fact your exact words were, "I make a mean bowl of cereal."
You can't beat a mean bowl of cereal.
That's why I got you that nice bowl, man. It has your name written all over it.
Is it a Jeffro bowl?
So many jokes that could be made.
Now, Adam got me a Hulk, the Incredible Hulk bowl.
Well, that's close to a Jeffro bowl.
Yeah, it was one that I gotten a while back, and when I found out that he liked a lot of the same characters and stuff that I did, I was like, oh. And then the icing on the cake was when he told me, "Well, I make a mean bowl of cereal." And I'm like, I have to give him this bowl. Like, I never used it; it just stayed in the box on the shelf and shit with my Hulk collection. And I'm like, oh, this is going to Tommy. Looks like it has to.
Actually, I think speaking of Tommy and. I think the Skyrim has actually got figures out now. Are those scannables?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming out.
That's an interesting
Skyrim
concept.
6.
Yeah. That's an interesting concept, scannables for games. It's actually a clever idea. Turn collectibles into something more than a shelf item.
Well, it would be better if, like, the gaming industry combined with the comic book. So when you bought a comic book, you got a special thing in the game.
That's clever.
I mean, the gaming industry is capable of doing that because if you really think about it, they've been doing that for a long time now. It's just that now I think it's starting to become more popularized, especially now with Nintendo doing the things like the Amiibo and the Amiibo cards, for example.
Yeah. But, like, if comic books had, like, a character, even for the younger kids, like, if, like, they wanted a Fortnite skin and they didn't have money to buy it, they can go buy the comic book and scan it for the skin.
Well, actually, you get you do have Fortnite dolls with skins.
Yeah.
You've also got walls, and you actually can buy physical characters and you get them in the game. But yeah, they don't have the comic book tie-in.
They had that. Was it that Disney game like a while back? You buy the figurines, and the figurine was your game character.
Yeah.
That's Disney World.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Toys R Us used to sell them, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an online game. It was on their on the now defunct Disney World site. I think it was Fantasia.
Something Disney something other, I think.
I remember the concept because you know what was the other one that did that at the same time was that Skylanders thing.
Yeah.
And I only remember Skylanders because of Spyro the Dragon, like that before they finally made the trilogy remake. That was the fate of the poor purple dragon that actually had a pretty interesting gaming franchise until it was basically forgotten. Most mainstream
they need to come up with a game like Ready Player One, where you can have anything basically. Like if you wanted like this Red Dead Redemption character, but on a different game.
I think part of the problem would be licensing rights.
Right.
Really.
You'd have so much money tied up in the licensing rights, it would cost the customer.
It would take somebody. Well, it would take somebody like Disney with all those IPs to.
Right.
but they're not in the game development.
If you made it like a percentage, like each company gets like 1% of the profit or 2%. A game like that though would sell so much they would make their money.
Well, the problem is corporations are greedy. They're not going to.
Yeah, and then again comes the other things about IPs and how they would want certain IPs to be used and whatnot. And that's another thing that comes into, like, for example, like, let's say what you're talking about might be like more leaning towards crossovers.
Well, what I was talking about is like make it like Grand Theft Auto where it's like global, like Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah.
Like you go to one part of the map, it's like Red Dead Redemption. You go to another part of the map, it's like Halo. It's just like all major games combined on a big map.
I mean, to be crazy, because I mean I've done gaming also online back in the day, like those RPG-ish type games. I'm talking about stuff like the Club Penguin levels of games, guys. So don't judge me. But they used to do stuff like that in online games like that in the past, like where you would have one type of area was like this, another type of area was like was kind of like you were describing it. Like stuff like that has existed before. The thing is that it was pretty niche, and sometimes it didn't take off as well. Servers were too difficult to maintain. Different things. So it's not like it hasn't been done. It probably has been done, maybe on a smaller scale. But I think part of the problem would be nowadays, especially, let's say, for example, is to mention something like, let's say you go from like Grand Theft Auto to like Red Dead and the same thing. It really comes down to licensing, right? So like Rockstar, for example, might be able to pull it off because, again, these are all their IPs. So maybe they can pull off something like that. Same thing with Nintendo, like you can go from one game to another. Okay, yeah, because again, it's within their IP system. But then now what happens when you're dealing with like third-party characters and whatnot, or new IPs?
The closest thing they had something like that was the
let's take a look
Smash
at
Brothers, where they had all the characters. They were Battle Royale.
Yeah.
All the different IPs of one gaming company.
Yeah, and even now, that's no longer even like exclusively Nintendo product, because you have IPs from like non-Nintendo first-party characters. I'll even things that I didn't expect to ever see in Smash Brothers game, to be honest. Like it's crazy how they really ran with that concept, and it's evolved. And it's funny because now that we're on topic with that, that's actually helping Nintendo branch out to work in collaboration with other companies, and they've really been killing it lately with that.
Well, another thing that would have been good, Nintendo had it right. If you make your character,
quality hide makes the hardiest clothes around.
And when you make your character, it's for every single game. Nintendo had that right for the Wii, Nintendo Wii.
Yeah, the Mii.
Now, could you imagine if like this character right here? Let's say you designed that when you got your console. That's the character you're going to play in every single game that you play. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
It really would be nice to see them redo the whole Mii thing. Unfortunately, they kind of...
I think they went too cartoonish with it.
To work with dead squirrels.
Sorry, cartoonish with what?
Well, I'm thinking like if you can make the character look identical to you or close as possible, and then you go play Red Dead Redemption looking like your character.
Like this.
Yeah.
They did that with the Shadowrun game. Not Shadowrun game.
But I'm talking about like, okay, you set it up for your console, not the game. So when you put in the game, it automatically sets it to look like that.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean now. And like an open ID.
Yeah, but your character always looks the same in all the games.
That would be cool.
They did, again, Nintendo did do that with the Mii. I'm trying to think of another example if anything else has been done like that. But a recent memory, I'm drawing a blank, and Mii's the only one I could think of.
Yeah, but wasn't Nintendo a mini-Me? It was a chibi.
The thing is, they kind of that concept kind of died with the Switch, really. And they closed down Miiverse. So what happened was that they're trying to like bring back that Mii thing back, but the problem was that Miiverse really worked best, in my opinion, during that whole Wii U phase, because again they had like the touch screen pad where you can even like draw and put comments online and whatnot. It was very interactive. Again, very ahead of its time in some ways, like what it did. Like it was like its own social media within the game. And obviously, some people liked it, some people didn't care for it. But I know what he's talking about. So, for example, if you created a Mii character in your console, you play Mario Kart, you have the option of uploading your Mii. In Smash Brothers, same thing. You had the option of playing as a Mii. There were other games, for example, you could play as the Mii as well. Not every game, of course, but a majority. I wouldn't even say a majority, but a couple of games, yeah. So it's like that idea could be done by any other franchise, but let's face it, right now, the only one that I see ever bringing that back really would be Nintendo, because what would Sony do? Like at this point, I can't trust Sony to do anything right now.
Sony would only give you a chibi of its favorite characters.
Well, PlayStation did have PlayStation Home, which looked like a start to something good, but they never made it good.
Yeah, that's their biggest problem.
I reckon
they ditched that in favor of the Sony store.
I don't start next year. I might not see the end of it.
And that's a shame. They
ditched further development and cut staff and put them on the Sony store. So you're not going to see updates.
But I just see it like even if the clothes had to change, that's fine. But I hate going into a game and you have to make the character look like what you want it, and then you get bored of that game, so you get to another game and have to do it over and over and over again. Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, listen. It really comes. It really comes out to things like those little details like licensing rights and whatnot. Because again, I don't know what certain IPs would be willing to do. You also gotta keep in mind programming as well. That means that they would have to actually program the game to be compatible with that type of software. And
they have to use the same engine, and that means and a lot of companies don't like that because they have their own. But there's only 6 engines out there for the PlayStation. It's not like there's a huge choice.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why, again, the failure of the Wii U was really, unfortunately, a design flaw. I mean, in hindsight, is because a lot of companies just did not want to program. Like, they didn't want to do a separate programming just to be compatible with the Wii U. Like, it was just too much work for them to get into. So they were like,
it was the most expensive license. You'd buy the engine, and you'd pay $1,000 extra for the character database, and then you had to pay an extra for this, and then you had to pay an extra for that, and then on top of that, you had to buy. Nintendo had its own subcategories, and it's like, no thanks.
No, I remember when the Switch first came out, nobody wanted it
because they were worried it was going to be like the Wii.
Yeah,
hard to program. It was easy to use, but hard to program for. So, and the licensing was going to be through the roof. So nobody wanted to Switch.
I never play it.
Huh?
I have a Switch and I never play it.
Yeah, but if you there's a couple of good games on it that make it worth its time.
It really is. I think, in all honesty, because the major launch title was the Zelda game. If it wasn't for something like that, I don't think we would have had the level of success that it did, because it really needed something strong to be a selling point for it.
Yeah, if Sony hadn't put its arcade games on there, would be also a failure.
And then the cool thing about it was that, so we were talking a moment ago about how the Wii U became a failure because, again, all these third-party developers just did not want to spend the time, money, effort, manpower, whatever, to program a game specifically for the console. Well, the Switch now made it possible for them to, sell the product on and port it to a new console. So one of the things we notice now, and what leads to the success of the Switch, is that the return of video game ports.
They followed Steam's model and made the licensing much cheaper.
Now, Xbox bought the rights to God of War. So does that mean the new God of War is only going to be on the Xbox?
Wait, they bought the
No,
rights
it
to
means
what?
it's going to be on Xbox first.
John, you might want to get some warmer clothes.
Yeah,
Whoa, say that
Xbox
again.
bought the rights to it. They bought
Yeah.
the
God of
company
War?
that owns the rights.
Yeah. As far as I know, they're still going to release it on other platforms, but I think there's going to be a 6 to 12 month delay.
My privacy, why don't you?
So this just goes basic. Yo, what the hell is up with Sony then? Like, they're not gonna have anything exclusive about them to make them unique, other than graphics. And I'll even say this: the graphics on a Sony PS5 are questionable at best.
Yeah. But Sony started as number one on graphics, and they've now fallen behind PC.
It's kind of hard to compete with PC though, because every year they come out with a new graphics card for a PC, and then consoles only come out every
3
years.
months. There are a
every 3
dozen
months.
companies. There are a dozen companies. And
Again,
you can
that's
upgrade
the
a PC
folly of a
faster.
console.
But once you buy yourself a good enough card, you don't have to really replace it, especially for the games.
No, you can upgrade the memory.
Yep.
There's
And
just so
the
much
heat
more
sink.
you can do with PC.
Yeah.
I just can't get into the keyboard part.
You don't
Like,
have
I
to
know
do
you can
keyboards
hook
though,
the
Tommy. You can
controller.
always buy
Good
controllers and stuff.
Yep. And the
Yeah,
best
you
and the
can
beauty
get
of it.
wireless
hold up.
now.
Here's the
get
beauty
wireless.
of it. Now PCs take because of, for example, like if the PlayStation controller was your thing and that you like that better over the Microsoft controller, all you need something with Bluetooth compatibility, and you can be using your PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 controller to play on a PC. Hell, they even sell adapters that allow you to use old wired controllers on
For
PCs.
for your USB hub. They
Yeah.
come with their own little hub.
Because on my
In some
iMac, I
cases-
use my PS4 controller.
Yeah, you could do that, and you save yourself a ton of money.
And if you don't have one, you can go to a retro store and get one.
Yep.
Exactly. It's really like, again, to say that it's the master race of consoles is an understatement. PC, it will always be miles ahead of what you can accomplish with it.
For $100 you
compared
can
to
get
consoles.
for $100 you can get the entire Atari game set for PC and use an Atari joystick, and it comes with an Atari joystick.
Well, shit, I mean, for
only
that, you
way-
could buy the ones that plug in your TV as well. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you get the emulators and you've got everything: Nintendo, Sega, fucking, pretty much anything you can think
Everything
of.
from the 90s is now on PC,
Yep.
The
basically.
only way I can see a console surpassing a PC now is if they really spend some money on virtual reality. And
You've
really
been throwing
get it
but even with
perfected.
dual processing, they can't keep up.
Yeah, I
And
know.
that's even PCs are capable of doing that. It's just obviously more.
I'm saying surpass them in that. If they
No, he's
surpass
saying
them
if,
in
well,
virtual
they-
reality, I could
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
it.
Well, here's the
That's
thing
gonna be
about
hard.
PC. Here's the thing
Tommy.
about consoles. And this was actually something interesting that I remember. I don't know which YouTuber pointed this out, but it was a very interesting concept. Why was it that people had this notion that consoles were better than the PC for the longest? And it was because, guess what? Consoles had all these extra features that included, for example, all these apps like Netflix, Hulu. You could do YouTube streams on. You could watch YouTube streams on and everything, right? But the thing is that these were also things you could have done on your PC anyways. It's just that you had an app that was plugged, that was in your console that was already plugged into your TV. So most people got used to doing that on the TV. But all you have to do as a smart person is, if you really think about it, your PC nowadays can even be hooked up to your TV. Like it's that crazy that you don't even need a monitor anymore for a PC. There was a time you needed to have a monitor specifically for your PC console. It had to have the right cables. It had to have the right wires. If you didn't have it, it was basically you have to go buy a new monitor or get the necessary parts for it. I'm showing my age a little bit by describing this stuff, but you'd have to do it yourself. Nowadays, with the addition of just something as simple as the HDMI cable, you can put whatever's on your PC on your TV. So the
I used to do
convenience.
that component-wise on my computer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You even have TVs now that even have the necessary VG cable component on it. That can
It's
hook up to
USB,
your
USB T. Yeah, Sony missed out on that. Samsung came out with the USB TV just sits beside your computer. Plug it in, bang, you have 3D.
And the best part is that you have so many new TV different brands of TVs now. Before we were limited to like the brands that were like the top of the top brands, like your Sony, Samsungs. What was another one? Philips,
RCA.
Thank you. Name those name brands, right? Now you have brands nowadays that are what you can consider budget brands, upstart brands, whatnot.
Panasonic is the top of the charts, and they used to be a third tier TV company.
Yeah. And for example, I have one of the brands that nowadays sees a lot of you see it all over the place now is Scepter, I think it's called. That TV, and it's I think this is a 50-inch TV or 45, I'm not sure. But
is that the full color TV that uses full color channels?
Yeah, I believe so. But for $200, and this is like 50, let's just say it's for the sake of arguments, 50-inch, right? And this was on a Black Friday. For $200, I have essentially a much larger version of a computer monitor that would cost me the same thing, probably removed 10 years ago, maybe at best, at minimum. So it's like nowadays the accessibility to have a display is all over the place. And hell, if you want to go a step further, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just buy a decent projector, get a nice big white wall, and start playing games through a projector screen, as long as the projector is strong enough. But that's kind of an outdated thing to do as well. But it's fun on occasions.
Y'all see like the paper TVs?
I think I have.
Oh yeah, the really thin ones. They're so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I know
Samsung's got one. It's actually curved, and it sits like this, and you can watch. It's almost holographic.
It's crazy what a TV can do nowadays. Some of them aren't even that expensive if you really think about it. Again, the fact that you can hook them up to your PC nowadays, and especially if your PC has all these capabilities and all these things installed on it, instead of having to switch consoles all the time and channels, you can do it all in one console and get it over with. Like, I'll tell you this much: as far as emulators are concerned, if you want to play games, I think up to right now that I know of, there's no shortage of GameCube games, PS2 games, and maybe early Xbox games that you can't find the ROMs for online that you can play on a PC. So, and that's supposed to be, for a lot of people, like probably one of the best ages of gaming. Because when you start getting like PS3, it's kind of debatable.
The most popular one right now is the Diablo 2 Redux.
So I wanted to see if this was actually a thing or if it just happened to me. Did y'all ever get when I first got my very first console, it was a Nintendo 64. No, it was just a regular Nintendo. Well, the TV I had didn't have the right plug up, so I had to get that adapter.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah.
I had to wait 3 weeks after getting the console to even play it. I was pissed for them 3 weeks.
Listen, and that's basically what it was like to have a PC and then have the wrong monitor for it.
Yeah. Once upon a time, you bought a PC, you had to go around to your monitor. You had to go around plugging into the different monitors to see if it would sync. Because some were 35, some were 55, some were 200.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, it wasn't like today, for example. Most monitors nowadays are standard. So if you plug in a desktop to a monitor, it's gonna more than likely just pick up the signal. Before, some monitors were not compatible with some towers.
Yeah.
So it's come a long way.
That.
It's come a long way, and it's crazy how and again, part of the problem with gaming nowadays, and listen, I'm guilty of this too, don't get me wrong, is the fanaticism of it, just fanboying. So, and people can just not admit sometimes when their favorite console, their favorite company is screwing things up, and you got all the diehard Sony people that have to get the PS5 on day one because it is the master console and it does all the things that the PC can't. I call bullshit because no one cannot.
Oh, please. If Sony had a video card better than the PC, in 3 months, there'd be a new video card out for the PC.
Exactly.
Same with
I don't
same.
put the blame
Nobody
on the
buys.
console.
A lot of people don't bother with sound, but you can because it's built into your PC. But you can go out there and get some newer graphics cards actually have digital audio.
Well, I don't put the blame on consoles though. To
No,
some
it's the PC
extent,
gamer. It's
I
the
believe
gamer.
games ain't telling a good enough story anymore. It's kind of like you may get a good story, you may get the crappiest story, and you just spent 8 hours to figure out the story was crappy.
Yeah. Right now, the only company that I know that pours money into their story is Games Workshop.
Like they're so worried so much about the graphics, they forget to tell the story of the game.
Yeah, they
I've been
lost
saying
so
that for a long
money.
time.
Yeah, they lost so much money on bad stories that they are now putting money into them.
That, and I think if you buy a console, you should automatically get a headset, and you shouldn't have to pay for an online subscription.
Well, I'm with you on that. That online gaming is bullshit. And then two, like, okay, my PS3, as soon as I got it, I ripped out the hard drive that was in there and put in a terabyte. And then eventually they start coming out with terabyte hard drives, but they're overcharging you the price for that shit. I mean, nowadays you can get a 2 terabyte hard drive for less than $100, and you just throw that shit in your system and you're set.
But I believe, and I hate in-game purchases.
Oh,
that is ruining the gaming industry.
You want to talk about? Let's go down the rabbit hole. That's your rabbit hole right there.
You buy $100 game and you're halfway through, and some guy's tearing through the game with this, like going from 0 to 100 in a week, and because he turns around and spends $100 on a power store, and it's like, what the fuck? $100?
Yeah.
I bought the game for $100, and he's got end game gear now.
I'm more pissed with the DLC too. Like you spend say 60, 80, but I don't know. I haven't bought a new game in forever. I'm a cheap motherfucker. I wait. Like the last Lego game, the Villains game, I just recently got that last year. But
probably $30, which was
I got it for like $5, Bruce. So I was like, hell yeah, I love the Lego games.
Yeah,
they're good.
Like, the PS3 had the old Midway stuff that you could buy. So you got Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, and it was like $10. So like that aspect I like. And I think if you're gonna do a game, say like the WWE games, why is it you can't just buy the disc and then it is DLC? So if you want to spend like $40 for the new, and it shouldn't even be 40, it should be like 20. Let's be real here. You shouldn't be paying more than $20 for fucking DLC content. But yeah,
I hate it when the DLC add up to more than the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's the worst. Not just DLC, they're getting so overpriced.
I think if anything, DLC's the biggest problem with DLC is that it became a way out for a lot of developers and
put out their game developers cheaper. Yeah.
So no, it's kind of like a get out of jail free card, because before the thing was, if you guys remember that before we started getting more into like the online I would say generation, right? And I think I would say that really started becoming more of a thing. I mean, online, when would you say would be really when it really started taking off? I would say during the PS2 to 3 era is when it started becoming more of a thing, right? It existed, but not to this extent at this time.
Yeah.
If a game came out and it was buggy, laggy, had problems, everything, it was like, listen, if it was like that, it was dead on arrival. All it took was word of mouth. That was it. That was suicide for that game. That was suicide for that developing company, for the producers, everything. Nowadays, with the added of DLC, it's like, oh, you don't like one aspect, or there's a bug that can, break the game or break your console, whatever. Oh, here's a patch. Here's a patch. Here's a day 1 patch. Here's a day 2 patch. Here's a day 5 patch.
My horse is glitching.
It gave people. That's the funniest shit. See, okay, so like for example, that's just a glitch that can happen because again, it's an oversight, things that you don't think would naturally happen. But then, what about these? Like, remember what happened when, like, for example, that Assassin's Creed game that they had wild glitches all over the place.
Yeah, when the first week it came out, you couldn't finish the game because of the glitches.
Yeah,
you if you didn't know how to walk across a certain, if you didn't have certain skills, you couldn't complete the game. But they didn't tell you that at the start.
So it was like, I can't believe I just watched the cow get milked in a video game.
Right?
Let that sink in.
I was sitting there thinking of the Saints Row when you're running around in a cow outfit and shit.
That's the word. You just spent 60 to 100 hours playing a game, and then you get to the
Smack his
end.
ass.
And they did this with Fallout 2 or 3. If you didn't have the right skills, you couldn't complete the game. But these were skills way back in the beginning that they should have told you. These are essential skills.
Well, what I thought was weird, and this was the PS3 genre, because like the PS2, when I had the PS2, like that shit wasn't ever connected to the internet or anything. It was PS3 where that kind of became more of a norm. But you could buy, like instead of beating the game, you could buy it and unlock all the shit. What's the fucking point in that? That's like cheating big time.
Well, again, I think this comes now to the more, like, again, going down the rabbit hole further. What became a big deal during the PS3 / what would be I think it was the Xbox 360 days, right?
Yeah.
Was that online gaming became more of a big thing at that point. Now you're having people compete with one another online, testing skills and whatnot. And unfortunately, there's always going to be the people that are naturally skilled. There's going to be the people that put in work and will eventually get to it. And there's going to be the people that just suck. All right. So what happens is that the people that just suck, or the people that try so hard and they can only get so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter.
All right, Lincoln Park.
Bad reference. Listen, it's better than just hanging around all day. Okay. Thank you. I'll be here all week. So what happens is that a lot of those kids, especially because a lot of them were kids, what they realize is, wait a second, I'm not getting any better at this game. But if I buy this in-game purchase DLC, whatever, I have the option of getting all these guns. I have the option of getting the better weapons and leveling up faster, and all these things. So people realize, wait, if there's a shortcut method for me to get successful at this, I'm going to take it. And companies realize, well, look, people are paying money for this.
It's called the Dubai effect. What happened is a lot of people in Dubai, having more money than brains, would call up these companies and demand a better in-game content. And were actually willing to throw money at better in-game content.
That's how it starts. It really. In many ways, a lot of the problems with the gaming industry really can't really be attributed to the gamers themselves. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we're the ones that buy the product and consume it. So
and so they want. It's like that's what happened to the Diablo online game. You suddenly had people with power swords. What? You get that in the last level to kill the demon? Nah, you can have it. You can buy it at the shop and basically start the game with a power sword and power armor. What's the point?
Well, Halo did it right with it only affected your appearance. It didn't actually affect your gameplay until this last Halo, because you got certain guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. For 2 years, Fortnite was only funded by selling skins. I think they're starting to get download content now, or what they call exclusives.
Well, Halo did have a problem with you had to buy new maps. When a new map came out, you had to buy that, and so you was only selected to play certain online matches if you didn't have the map packs.
Right.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That was the thing with Call of Duty and other shooters as well.
And I think it's wrong. I think if you own the game, that should come with it. That and another controller. I think it should come with 2 fucking controllers and make more games that has 2 players.
Well, for over $500 you goddamn skippy it should, and it should have a better fucking memory, And on top of that, what I want is like I've got the PS4, I've got the Xbox One, I got all that, but like right now, how Seth's playing, I want a game like this where we could all of us be playing at the same time, multiplayer.
I think
without
Smash
having to
Brothers does
pay
something
online, because Sony used to be free to play online, and
Yep.
Xbox 360, the original Xbox was free to play online, and 360 was for a while, and then all of a sudden they decided to charge you for the 360, whatever the fuck they call it.
Now,
the
to
only
be
thing
fair, Sony at the time could not afford to upgrade its infrastructure without charging a $30 fee a year. But when it got to 200, no, that's gouging.
Well, I will say Xbox did do something where it's like $14 a month, but you get over like 300 games you can download.
Yeah, PlayStation did the same thing, basically.
And you get deals on movies and stuff like that. But you can actually trick the system because the more games you play, you get points that can buy your next Xbox
Live.
Yeah.
Right.
So you never really have to play if you play. I mean, never really have to pay as long as you play constantly.
Well, the thing I thought that Xbox did that was really cool, and I think, were the first ones to do it, I could be wrong, though, was where you could do, like, the family pack. So,
Yeah,
like,
they still do it.
Yeah, well, and I think PlayStation finally caught on to that, but they were, I do believe, the first ones that did that. So if, you've got large families and everybody's gaming, you could just split it up. I thought that was kind of cool. But again, I don't like paying. I don't play enough to justify spending it now for the channel. If do you got it? What do you have, Tommy?
I have Xbox.
Okay, Seth, do you still have Xbox or no?
I just got a PlayStation.
Okay. So yeah, that's where, because I've got both.
Oh my god, I have to make so many milking jokes.
They're trying to connect the divide and make it to where most games are compatible with each other for online purposes. Like Fortnite, you may be playing with someone that's on a cell phone playing it. And
I love playing Fortnite. I mean, I suck at it. I'm not good, but my guy's dressed up in a hot dog costume because what else would I be in?
Super winner.
That's right. You know it. Damn right, Rue. Thank you, friend.
The original, he's superhero, folks. A true to life superhero now.
Man.
Yep.
That's how, like with Jason Mewes, when I played with him playing Fortnite, like I suck. I always get shot in the ass. So,
Yeah.
But it is, it's just one of those, I don't play enough. I'm like, I don't care. It was all for fun.
Now, my kids are amazing at it.
My son played it for a while, but it's too crowded now. He says it's too crowded. You get 50 people dropped into the middle of the map, and it's like a bullet fest. It's not skill anymore; it's luck.
But it could be too. I think with that, it's the same as we were talking. The more you play, if you're actually playing, the more you play, and then the older you get, the better you get. And us being old fucks doesn't help matters.
No, that 0.1 or 2 millisecond delay in our brains is catching up with us, whereas the kids don't have that old man delay.
Exactly, man.
We'll talk about a delay. I go through that sometimes too. This is why I like going back to my old school games. I think the delay is actually much more appreciated in the game sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh man, shoot. You know what's? I'll say this. Like that whole thing, for example, like you was talking about the Fortnite, the whole cross compatibility play, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
That's a very cool concept that honestly I would love to see more from games, and it seems like it is catching steam. But obviously, the problem goes back to which type of game it's gonna be available for. So unless there's let's say, for example, I'll say this much, especially when it concerns online multiplayer games, they seem to be catching on more with that. Because before, if you remember, let's say you bought a shooter game, right? Like let's say it was Call of Duty. If you were playing online, on whatever server it was, people on the same server. So if it was on Microsoft, you were playing Microsoft. If it was on PlayStation, you was playing PlayStation. I don't know if the newer versions of the game, the recent releases, are cross compatible, but
now that depends on the type of account you have. If you are on a PlayStation and you have a PlayStation account, you can't use the PlayStation account on Xbox. But if you have an OpenID account, it does work.
Okay.
Like
So
Facebook or Google. If you use Facebook or Google on your phone, you can use those on other consoles, but not
I
the
wasn't
other
aware.
way
No, I wasn't
around.
aware of that. No, that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
And I would
So
I
that's
would
an
love to see more of
advantage
that.
to PC players.
Yeah,
Now,
no,
do
again,
you
that
think?
PC takes the advantage. And like again, there's more benefits having a
PC for the
PC
win.
nowadays.
Now, do you think if PlayStation and Xbox combined into one company, would they be able to compete with PC? They pulled all their resources.
Probably if they came out with a dual processing system,
Mm-hmm.
because then they have the advantage of speed,
Yep.
and they have the advantage of not having to buy a screen.
Lots
Well,
on your
no, I would
That's about
say
it.
maybe that, and they would own majority of the games.
Yeah. I'm just taking on the fact whether or not they sell games, because most games are now sold on PC, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's again the problem with Sony nowadays is there really is no point to buy a game on Sony anymore because it's getting released and ported on another console or on PC like a couple
Because
months
Sony
later.
were
and
losing
sometimes-
revenue. Even
Like, okay.
even at the height of the PS3, they were losing revenue.
Yeah,
because people would illegally port the people would screen grab the graphics or whatever, or scan them and create what they call redux model, redux issues or no ROM or whatever you want to call
yes,
them.
you're 100%. You're right about that because I've seen games from like PS3 ported on PC and just basically, like you said, they basically retouched everything. They retouched the graphics, they retouched the engine. In some games, if they were missing the content that was cut out because for whatever reason it was removed from the game, people are actually
and some of them are glitch free.
Yes,
that's what really got people off the PS3 was the glitches.
Yeah.
Now, my main question is, which console will drop first? Like, quit existing?
PS4.
Well, I'm talking. So you're saying PlayStation? I'm talking PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo.
PlayStation would be the first to go with the trio.
Why?
Nintendo's got too many exclusives.
I say
But they're not any good.
Nintendo right now is on a roll as far as collaborations. So I don't see that becoming a thing anytime soon where they're going to drop.
And Xbox has too much money behind it.
Well, it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
Well,
$100 billion
Microsoft going
not
first?
going out of business. Yeah.
They also have that feature where I can play an Xbox game and then pause it and then jump on my laptop and continue it on my laptop.
So
exactly.
And it doesn't cost me money.
Yeah. So I want to say Microsoft, but here's the thing, and this is probably where we could all be wrong, and Dave could be right here on this one. The thing with Sony right now is that for the longest, it's been this kind of misconception that they were doing pretty well and netting profits in the gaming, in their gaming division, right? But the reality is that they have not actually been as successful as let on. If that concept sounds a little familiar to you, it's because yes, companies can stretch the truth a little bit, aka lie. So, and I would say definitely look up Razorfist on this one. He has gone into this many times about Sony.
As long as Sony made the money and paid the taxes on it, they do not have to report the difference between online revenue, in-game sales, download content to the actual game numbers. So
I love the banjo music. Hold on, Dave. I'm sorry, but I love that the fact that as we're talking, the banjo music keeps coming through. It's fucking funny.
There's a little touches that make a game good, man. Always remember
right,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah.
Go ahead. I just said that, it's and it is the little touches that Sony doesn't have, that the other consoles do have. That's the advantage.
Just go on that one real quick before I get back to the other point. Just look at, for example, what were the more popular games on the PS4? And then you can hit me with your God of Wars, your Last of Us 2, quote unquote, if it was popular.
War.
Uncharted.
That was Microsoft.
Yeah, but all them games are owned by Microsoft now.
Yeah, all of them.
Oh yeah, look at that. See, they're not
all
even
the
exclusive
games
to
that they just mentioned are owned by Microsoft.
What
So-
game?
Game of Wars,
God of
God of
War.
Wars.
Yes, all the big ones are Microsoft. That's right.
Yeah.
And the new Mech Warrior. That's Microsoft.
Shit, I didn't even know this until you guys brought it to my attention today. So again, this is probably where I would say yes, Sony might be the first one to go now, because it's at that
They have
point where
less
it's like
exclusives.
it's really the writing is on the wall. And if you think about it, part of the reason why Sony was ever as successful as it was because we always forget that Sony is much more than just a gaming company. It's also a music, I'm gonna say publisher, I
Music,
think.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they really got their money with the Blu-ray part. And
exactly.
now Blu-ray's kind of dying. Like it's not dying, but it's not used as much anymore as streaming.
Yeah,
It's
ironically,
too expensive.
streaming killed it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they want. They don't want you to actually own physical media.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
It's funny because again, watch the Razor Fist videos on him, and he says, "What is Sony really doing? Is like their business model is literally self-destructing themselves into like anything they come up with is getting like destroyed almost immediately. So it's like as soon as they come up with a good idea, it's like, all right, we let it run for a month.
Yeah,
how can we destroy it? And
I wasn't a big fan of the idea like the PS5s where they didn't take discs and shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of anti that. So it's like, yeah. Plus, I don't need a new fucking system.
Yeah, there's no point in getting it, unfortunately. And it's not because I just want to pick on Sony just to pick on Sony, but think about how much bad will they have given to the consumer and gamers at large. The whole notion that, again, that the Sony was better for the longest just because it had things that the other consoles didn't is basically some short-sighted
shit.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because they didn't own the rights to any of they don't own the rights to only have
even
the
their
Blu-ray.
flagship game right now is still Spider-Man, and they don't own the rights technically to all of it.
Yeah, Spider-Man isn't even their own creation. It's a Marvel character that's owned by Disney, and they just have the rights to produce games and media for it.
That's
That's
right.
it.
They own the rights to exploit the characters. They don't own. That's right.
Exactly. So look, names. Okay, so for you guys that have been playing Sony PlayStation for the longest, or at least grew up playing PlayStation, name some flagship franchises or exclusives or whatever you want to call it, and tell me what eventually happened.
I can't think of any Sony product that isn't Sony that's not exclusive to Sony anymore.
Well, I mean, Halo was for the longest time, wasn't it?
What about
Uncharted? It's Microsoft.
Now it's Microsoft, yeah.
Now it is, but I mean, back in the day, he asked for
Halo 1 and 2, were Sony exclusives.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few just for the PS1 days. What happened to Crash Bandicoot? That's the big one for me. He's not even exclusive to Sony anymore. They released Crash Bandicoot.
We can't hear you.
You can't?
No, you're very.
No, you're distancing. You're like echo.
Hold on, let me see if that works. Is that better?
No.
Still sound like a weeb.
Hold on.
It seems like you're calling from 1996 on a mobile phone.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. I'm on.
Let's go, bro.
When the quality dies on your connection, the quality dies on your voice.
Yeah.
We
Well, I
just
mean, I
lost
think Sony, I'm sorry, Sega had the best thing because Dreamcast was ahead of its time. And then when Sega decided to call it quits, they just started manufacturing games for everybody. They're like, hey, fuck off, and still made money. You know?
Yeah. Well, Sega realized that trying to develop a 64-bit console when they were too late to the market, so they said,
all right, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back. There you go.
Okay. Sometimes all I have to do is just log back in. But my phone is actually heating up, so I may end up actually dropping out soon.
Yeah, StreamYards don't like phones, bro.
Yeah, I know, but unfortunately, until I get a PC, this is what I'm doing.
I know, homie. I know. I'm just saying it's racist against phones, bro.
Again,
It's
PC
bonus.
master race. It is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is.
I'm on the PC watching you play video games, and I'm playing City Heroes at the same time.
Exactly. I like that we can always say, hey, a phone can do what a PC can. I'm like, yeah, that's true to an extent. But how many programs can you run on the phone at the same time? And how many can you run on a PC at the same time?
Well, even if you go out and buy the new split screen phones, they don't do more. They don't do 2 games at the same time.
Exactly. There are just so many things you can do with a PC, and again, it is an expensive product, but so is a phone. If you think about it, a phone costs you just as much as setting up a tower for if you build it from scratch.
Yeah. And you get more storage.
Yes. So the only thing is that it's not portable. But even then, if you think about it, is that
only
really
like a third of your phones have a decent CPU, so it's hit and miss. You can buy a top of the range Samsung and pay more than a tower.
You know what it is? It's the fanaticism of it. It's the fanboyism of it. That's really what it comes down to in the end.
Oh, I hate Apple fanboys the most. They're like furries.
Oh my god, people use Apple such pricks.
Yeah, that's what I just said. They're like furries.
They're such buttholes.
I'll tell you which is one of the worst fanboys. Now that we're on the topic of phones and games and whatnot, Apple.
Apple is the toxic fandom.
We just said Apple.
Oh, you did?
That's what we were talking about. We said Apple users are pricks.
Oh shit! I missed it.
Damn,
I'm sorry.
You cutting deep.
Yeah, well, Apple users are douchebags.
There goes half our audience, but anyway.
They're all just a bunch of butt monkeys.
Listen, we probably lost a few people, but don't get me wrong. Android ain't exactly perfect either. But at
better
least
than Apple.
Yeah, but at least you don't see us making a whole fandom over a phone.
Chromebook 2 has fallen behind Linux on the speed index.
Oh my god! Don't turn into LAPE.
No, none of them can match PC speed right now. Chromebook 2 is sliding. They reckon you use Chromebook when you first buy Chromebook 2, it's really fast, but after 6 months and all the updates and all the patches, and you finally discover there are viruses on the Chromebook, because that's what slows PC down. That's the difference between consoles and PCs. Console games right now do not have to worry about firewalling for viruses. They will soon, though. The more DLC content you get, somebody's going to start finding a way to get that virus out there.
Appalachian American, if you want to take a break from gaming, and I'm playing a game, I can stream this one.
Share your screen.
Go ahead.
So all I gotta say is, after your comment, this avatar change is for you there, Appalachian American, and this is for me and Mr. Gunn. Since you're being so kind, here we go. There you go. Since this is the men's room and it is early morning coffee and gaming, and load, you piece of shit. Boom.
Some old
That's
school City of Heroes.
All right. All right.
Since you hate the Apple so much.
Damn, and I was the one that actually just was late to the party by bringing it up again.
No, it's all good, homie.
Speaking of Apple, they almost dominated the gaming market with the GS2, and then what do? Bring it out with a monochrome cut monitor as standard. I mean, talk about stupidity, right?
Oh, that seems decent graphics for that game, though. You're playing.
God.
Oh.
Don't know what's happening, but it looks pretty.
Your flare effects are a bit blurry, yeah.
Oh.
But I think that's more the connection of the compression.
I'll zoom back. I'll zoom out where it's not so glary.
Yeah.
So what is this game?
City of Heroes.
City of Heroes. I've heard of this. I've never actually seen it though.
It's like Fight Club for superheroes.
You can go into the character designer and design your characters to be anything you want.
Oh,
you got multiple power bases you can choose from. I just saw a guy that was kind of clever too. He made a debuffer, and he named it Debuff Bagwell, and it looked just like Buff Bagwell.
Oh, that's funny.
It literally sucks all your powers away, right?
Yeah.
No, he just calls his mom, or he has his mom call in sick for him.
Yeah, it's Amy Schumer. She sucks all the life out of you.
I feel bad for Buff Bagwell. That man does not deserve that level of hate. The man actually is genuine. I think he would say that he's genuinely a nice
he's a genuine
guy.
hero, but yeah.
And I actually liked Buff Bagwell when I was a kid watching. He was actually one of the few people I liked in the NWO. I wasn't really that big as NWO fan as a kid, but I actually liked him. I thought he was cool.
Even before he went in the NWO with WCW, he was a decent wrestler, even though he was a stripper, but he could wrestle, and you put him and Big Papa Pump together, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's sometimes I think people forget, especially with modern day wrestling, it's like people want so much of the sport aspect, but forget, hey, sometimes it's not just about skill, it's about presentation, it's about the theatrics of it. And I think he incorporated it pretty well. He did what he was supposed to for the time, and it's an entertaining thing to watch. And granted, Vince Russo is still an overhyped prick, but
you look at the metrics for wrestling. The first 15 minutes is the highest. It's definitely the presentation. It's the opening match. That's what people come for. They don't come for the finals. They just look at the results for that.
I watched a video earlier. It was about, I don't know if it's the next generation, if they don't think, or what's going on with them. But a boy put a glow-in-the-dark stick in the microwave to see if it would make it glow more.
Oh, I've heard about that a long time ago.
And he pulled it out because nothing happened. And the thing literally exploded on him, burnt the hell out of it.
Well, you basically made napalm.
Jesus.
So does that mean he now glows in the dark, Tommy?
I think
Wow.
it feels like it's glowing.
It just got dark in here.
There are people who are right now online, on Twitter right now, blowing up about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, demanding they change the script. It's like, do they know these shows are released after they finish filming?
No, they don't.
No, they do not.
So that answers your question about how stupid the current generation are.
They're the same ones that at age 18 you can pay them $0.25 and they'll eat a lightning bug.
Yeah.
Well, these people can't distinguish real life from fantasy, so.
I agree. I think that's the biggest problem, actually.
They can't actually get the MCU's not the real world. That it's supposed to be a fantasy universe where people
they don't
are
even
their
understand
ideal selves.
These people are actors. You can actually have people play someone else.
No. You mean a straight person can play a gay character and not be gay? Or or that it doesn't matter who the writer is because they can write for multiple characters of multiple races?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You can't have that.
Collector, the lies that are spewing from your lips.
Yeah, that puts us gatekeepers out of work. We decide who gets...
And I'm not...
It's not true.
Characters, they're actually true.
Kind of look like Thor, that one.
That one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my highest level. I can solo like level 50 bosses, no problem with this one.
You know what really gets me? All these people who complain about how much CGI the Green Lantern had, and then they cheer on Marvel. It's like, do you realize that they have almost no practical effects?
Yeah.
The irony of it all.
They complain about DC having no practical effects, just for the mask, too much CGI, and then they go to Marvel and say, ha ha ha, and there's nothing, Even Tony Stark jumping is faked, when he did that big jump in Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
That superhero landing was fake. That wasn't even him doing it. They just CGI'd the face.
I think part of that problem is, again, if we go back to the whole thing, I keep talking about the fanboyism of it all.
Yeah, but...
And again,
how toxic Marvel fans are towards DC. And
well,
DC
not just
having
that.
the stupidity to listen.
Well, not just that, but I think it has a lot to do with the Disney label. Because see, nowadays people do know that Marvel is like, when you talk Marvel, you're really talking Disney. So it's not even that it's Marvel versus DC anymore. It's Disney versus DC, because Disney calls the shots with their Marvel IPs.
You mean it's Disney fangirls versus WB fanboys?
Exactly. So basically what it is that oh, well, Disney can't do no wrong. Disney was my childhood. Disney taught me this. Disney taught me about romance and all this other crap. Yeah, and I'm going on a tangent.
Well, that Disney's gone.
Yes. The days of Lilo and Stitch are gone, ladies and gentlemen. Accept it. Stop trying to bring it back.
And even Lilo and Stitch is starting to be the woke period for Disney.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that if you watch, again, the original Lilo and Stitch was supposed to be a much darker movie. They actually had to cut content out because they said, listen, this is even too dark for adults to handle. And
it originally had the girl dying, Stitch being super evil and going on a rampage. It was super dark.
They cut out a scene that was a plane flying too close to tall buildings, which was supposed to be reminiscent of because of the whole 9/11 thing. They had to remove that scene entirely. Again, it's a very dark aspect, but the thing was that, again, those little risks that they took with a show like that, for example, for the time that it came out, is what makes it to be such a gem that it was. And then, of course, it went all status quo.
And what really Lilo and Stitch was making a series afterwards, which had nothing to do with the original movie.
Well,
they retconned the characters. They added new characters. They turned it into a family. And people said, this is boring. Nothing is happening. They had no real villains or nothing.
The first one was just a gem.
Yeah.
The
original was a gem. Shame they edited it.
Forward to DC's movies. And I got to give it to Marvel, though. When they first started, where they did the Iron Man first and led up slowly to them assembling.
But that wasn't Disney
the way they did Justice League. Justice League, they just seemed like they threw it together overnight.
Yeah,
that was.
I will agree with that.
That was Marvel's doing beforehand before Disney really took over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel had 10 years before DC started, man. That's,
plus
they'd already
Marvel had
the groundwork laid out.
Plus, Feige had
Not
5
really.
years planned Marvel out before he started the
Marvel
first movie.
Marvel started in 2008, and when was Man of Steel? Like 2011?
Marvel started with X-Men back in like 2000, 99,
But that
2000.
wasn't the MCU.
The MCU started.
Feige was already planning the MCU with all that. He originally was going to go with Fox, but Fox didn't want to.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. So it wasn't the MCU, but that's when they started. Was back in like 2000, bud.
Yeah, they were planning it. They had it all planned. X-Men was going to be their flagship.
Because the comics were the same way. If you go back in the 90s, the 2 titles that relaunched Marvel into the comic industry, X-Men, Jim Lee's X-Men, and McFarlane's Spider-Man.
I forgot I'm a squishy blaster.
Yeah, and they were going to have they were going to have Fox, Paramount, their own TV studio, so they had 2 companies making movies. They were going to have Sony come on board making Spider-Man content, and they were all going to coordinate together. But then Fox said, I don't want to play.
There we go.
I don't want to play with the others. I didn't want to play. I want to be the bully on the yard. You know what I mean?
That's the bottom line.
Call the shots, so to speak, basically, and that again, it's a minor detail like that gets forgotten or overlooked sometimes, and that's what can basically start a whole snowball effect. I think for me,
people left Fox because they wanted to be on the MCU.
Yeah. People saw a trend that was going to launch. The thing was that, yes, Marvel did it right by starting out and build, kind of giving us a slow build, but also kind of resonating with the audience.
And but also taking time pre-production, like 5 years to plan out their entire phase 1.
They messed up a little bit because they didn't add the characters that needed to be in there. They should have added...
But they didn't have the rights. They didn't have the cooperation of other companies.
Yeah. They should have at least hinted to the X-Men by just saying mutants, because they don't own the rights to the mutant name.
You can say the word, You can say the word. You can say they
hinted
exist.
that, and then they should have The Fantastic Four, they should have just mentioned the people's name at
But
least.
according to Paul Feig, they did say mutants in the first couple of movies, but then they got hit with copyrights, and at the time they couldn't fight it, so they just said enhanced or cut entire scenes out. But originally in Iron Man, he was going to actually be inspired by a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
To develop his super suit, because you have these powerful individuals out there that an ordinary person would just, have no chance, basically.
Well, to answer your question, Seth, Iron Man was 2008 and Man of Steel was 2013. So that's 5 years later.
5 year difference, meaning that they had 5 years to basically come up with something that was supposed to steal the audience away from Marvel. But it's debatable.
But the biggest thing with Iron Man is it really stayed true. The first Iron Man movie stayed true to the comic, with the exception of, instead of, of course, right then the big bad villain was the Middle East versus what the original comic was, back in the day, like Vietnam and whatnot.
Yeah. Again,
so I thought it was a well-adapted movie.
Also, they didn't want to bring in the Mandolin because he was Chinese. They didn't want to lose the Chinese audience.
But you gotta give it to DC. They've been trying. They just ain't really grasped it yet, because they had The Dark Knight and all them, which were good movies.
So it's not like DC cannot make a good movie.
MCU level yet.
Well, here's the thing: was the biggest problem. Let's put this in perspective, because I'll say for me, this is the biggest problem. This is where I lose my everything with DC movies. For the longest, I think most people wanted to see was a good lead up to the solid Batman versus Superman movie, right? And that was something that was teased for years. Like, when are we gonna finally see these two on the big screen? Have their moment. They're going at each other. Ultimately end in a bond of friendship, and we get Justice League at some point, right? Hell, it was even, if you guys remember the movie I Am Legend, there was even a poster in Times Square, and poster that had the logo of Batman and Superman, and I think it said 2012. I don't remember what year the I Am Legend came out, but I think it said 2012 on it, and that got people hyped. That got me so hyped watching that in the theater. I had left work early that day because I wasn't feeling well. But I was like, I wasn't going to go home, so I went to the movie theater instead. And when I saw that little detail in that movie, I could not believe my eyes. I'm like, holy shit, are we going to get it? Am I going to see this? I'm ready for it. I'm ready how many years it takes to see this movie. And by the time that DC finally got their shit together, I guess, for lack of a better term,
right,
and we got the movie, I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, and then we read way better. That was 2007 I Am Legend, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we read for 2 years, they weren't even filming. They had the script and they sat on it for 2 years, even though they were advertising a movie that hadn't even been filmed yet.
Yeah.
And then when they filmed it,
Civil War was a disappointment for me.
Well, Tommy, had DC done the Marvel thing and started off, because the Man of Steel movie was but okay, fine, and introduced all the characters, because all the Snyder cut is them. It's basically the Cyborg movie with a little bit more of the Flash to kind of build up those characters. Where if they would have just done a Flash movie, a Cyborg movie, put this fucking movie on the back burner, but they had so much money and so many people tied into it. They're like, we still got to do it. We're gonna produce it. And then it was shit. And then they turn around and relaunch the 4-hour version, which was
Man of Steel was a terrible Superman movie. They didn't even start out good, because
they didn't.
Zack Snyder just did not get Superman.
No, he actually admitted that he doesn't like Superman.
I tell you what I like about that Superman movie.
Flash movie, if they're going to use that same Flash.
Well, the one thing I liked about the Superman movie, the Man of Steel, was Zod was kick ass.
Yeah,
but you don't start with Zod.
I sympathize with Zod. I think it's kind of like the Infinity Gauntlet. You kind of sided with the villain.
Mm-hmm. And that's true.
Like Zod basically said, "Hey, we have to. The entire race of Krypton is gone. We just need a new home. And unfortunately, I may have to kill your people and the people you love. But these are your people, Clark. Like these are your family. We could bring them back."
Yeah. And all Clark had to do is say, "Hey, I'll help you do it on Mars."
Yeah, or even like, you know what? Let's compromise. Maybe we don't have to kill the people of Earth. They could find another way. And remember that
just
Superman is
terraform Mars.
supposed to
You
be-
have a terraformer. Terraform Mars.
Mars would make more sense.
And again, if he had understood the character of Superman, Superman would have tried to find a way out, like to do that. You know, like to say,
Which
hey,
he
listen.
did in the original comics with the city of Krypton when he found out that Krypton was destroyed by was actually deliberately destroyed. It wasn't Krypton's fault.
But what ends up happening in the movie instead? He ends up destroying basically the remnants of an entire race, and it's like, yo, you just committed genocide.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you destroyed the codex of your entire race. Why would you do that, Clark? You want to be the only one?
So it's like Superman became an asshole.
And he was a murderer. He killed all those Kryptonians, snapped the neck of Zod.
Which he didn't have to do because he could have put him in a sleeper.
Yep.
Well, and they did a cheesy way of it, though. Zod saying he's not going to stop. He's got his choice was either the humans died or Zod died. So, I mean, that was just his version of it, which was shit. It's like, all right.
That was Zack Snyder, that was Prison of Two Ideas.
But when we watched that movie the first time, like we went out afterwards. Because remember when we used to go to the theater, boys and girls, and have fun with your friends, and then you'd go out afterwards and discuss the movie. And our biggest issue was the fact he did that. And we're like, I guess, and this is, of course, me talking back in 2013, we're like, I guess if from here on out, that's what keeps him from killing anything, but it still was a throwaway moment. It's like he went, Superman would not have done that. I think Tom Wellington would have been a better Superman in the first place. And I mean, Henry Cavill, looked the part, but still, I really liked him in Smallville.
What they should have done when Smallville ended, I always thought they should wait a year or two, then bring back either a series or a movie of Superman.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well,
and have the same cast.
And I love the guy, Michael, whatever his name was, that played Lex. Like, he was great.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They should him as Lex Luthor was awesome. They should have done him with Lex as the original.
And this is my personal opinion. Y'all might have different. I actually enjoyed Aquaman.
Yeah,
I don't really remember watching it that much, but it seemed enjoyable.
I hated the actual story. I like that movie, but I don't like Aquaman.
Well,
I think he's
the problem is,
I
like the story, but I know it's an unpopular opinion. Most people like Jason Momoa. I don't think he's Aquaman. I think he's
Lobo.
Yes.
He should have been
somebody other than Aquaman. I'm not saying that you got to put a white guy as Aquaman by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But I didn't like him.
He's playing a different character as Aquaman.
His Aquaman is more like Lobo than Aquaman.
But
I think I actually heard Ethan Van Sciver even say before he left DC, they were going to give him a new Aquaman series, and they told them they want him to do it more like Lobo. Because that's how they do the Aquaman in the movies.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best DC movie we've got out of all this shit, I enjoyed the Shazam movie. Like, for it being updated and whatnot, I think that was the strongest movie to this day that they've came out with. I'm not saying it's perfect.
They changed his name to Shazam.
Yeah. Like I said, bro, I'm not saying that it's perfect. The third act was kind of shitty. But, I mean, in Aquaman, you've got William Dafoe that you barely use. You've got, and I mean, overall, Tommy, it's not that it's a bad movie. It's definitely a CGI fuckfest.
Which, again, Marvel fans seem to excuse and everything.
I guess the reason I like that movie is because I'm kind of tired of the Marvel everybody's good, every hero's good. Like, they made Aquaman a alcoholic that only cared about himself. Didn't change a bit, but still got to be badass about it and still became a superhero.
Yeah, but they kind of had that in the animated movies as well. Maybe not the alcoholic part. I can't remember because it's been forever since I watched that fucking Aquaman movie. But
but they stole that from the Iron Man series.
Yeah,
they stole that storyline.
Devil in a bottle.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to do Devil in a Bottle for Iron Man 2 because they want to keep the kitty.
Because Robert Downey Jr. had a no drugs clause.
Yeah, which kind of, I mean, again, and the sad thing about it is they kind of look like they were trying to go there at one point in that direction, but they didn't. So
they had him in the first two movies drinking, and then they, I think he got a DUI or something, so he couldn't do it anymore.
Was it that, or was it just because, by the third Iron Man movie, that's when Disney took over?
That too. I think it was at the same time.
I don't know, Rue. I mean, obviously, we're all just talking, but I would put dollar to donuts that had more to do with it, with Disney going,
that it was
no, we
the
don't
studio.
want that shit.
Yeah. That
remember, you can't have
you
your
can
heroes
guarantee Disney.
Right.
You can guarantee
They did the palladium poisoning instead of the devil in the bottle, which was similar to what was going on.
Yep.
By the way, now that we're talking about alcoholism, who was another character that suffered from alcoholism that is a flagship character for Disney's Marvel?
Thor.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, there's that too. But no, it's the flagship character, aka Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers in the comics, I recall that she also suffered from alcoholism at times.
Yeah, that's
PTSD.
That's actually when she was actually a good character, though. Now she's the best ever.
So just think about that for a second.
PTSD, yeah.
Yeah, so think about that. DC. Disney definitely has it. I would definitely say, looking at it now, yeah, Disney has
suffers from low personality disorder.
Yeah, so it's a safe bet that Disney is the one calling the shots. They're like, all right, listen, we don't want alcoholic characters. We can't show them having problems and conflicts on screen. Daddy issues is okay, because that's basically what the whole thing of Iron Man became.
Oh yeah.
By the time we got
Keep in mind, after the second movie, he's not sleeping with whores anymore. It's all about Pepper Potts too. During Disney.
Do you know Gwyneth Paltrow was originally going to be written out because she was such a diva to work with? Mm-hmm. Nobody wanted to work with her. That's why she was almost not in Endgame.
You mean someone that makes vagina candles is a diva?
Yeah. Isn't that a shock?
They think so much of themselves that people want to smell their cooch?
Well, that's probably what was happening on set.
Hey, smell this.
Probably.
Smell it?
So I liked Deadpool, the first one. I could take or leave the second one.
Yeah, the second one you can not see and not miss it.
Yeah,
I wasn't crazy about the second Deadpool.
I don't like the time travel.
Overdid it. They overdid it. That's the problem with Deadpool too. They had an idea of what Deadpool is as a character, but then they don't realize that, yes, Deadpool is a lot of things. He's a messed up human being. He has some problems. He has some demons of his own. He breaks the fourth wall and whatnot. But it's
not in every scene.
Yeah. But it's like the problem was that they assumed Deadpool is what 13-year-olds would write Deadpool as, not realizing that if you actually pick up some of the comics, even the more like edgelord versions of Deadpool still kind of have a sense of morality to his character. Like there's comics where he outright might be breaking the fourth wall, but you realize that there's a bigger story at play. I remember there's one where it was a collection of short stories, and he's having like his moment with a therapist, just talking to the guy, and it's like you're seeing things from his perspective. You see like the world distort in like his imagination, what the guy's telling him, but then you realize by the end it was a mission by Deadpool this whole time to get revenge on the therapist, because the therapist apparently had been abusing one of his clients and nobody would believe her, so she committed suicide. And Deadpool said, basically, I'm doing this as revenge for her.
Oh, I've heard about that story. Yeah.
And it wasn't really, and again, it wasn't a short collection. I'm like, so there is more to Deadpool than just breaking the fourth wall, making the occasional gay jokes, the Bear Arthur jokes.
Wasn't there a CIA story arc?
Deadpool killed the Marvel Universe, for fuck's sake. I mean, there's a lot to him. Yeah, I mean, this was just Ryan Reynolds, which when Iron Man 1 was my favorite.
Ryan Reynolds on steroids.
Yep. Iron Man 1 was my favorite, and then when Deadpool came out, that was my go-to. I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, fuck yeah. The second one, not so much, but the first one was spot on.
Well,
no, I don't know all Deadpool comics, but I had a CIA storyline with Deadpool that didn't break the fourth wall for the entire thing. He doesn't do it all the time.
There are moments that Deadpool did not even break the fourth wall in the comics. He just...
I mean, entire runs. Yeah.
Well, he didn't start breaking the fourth wall until later on. It's another writer that changed that.
Got it.
Well...
Yeah. So...
Like the scary movies and stuff, the comedy ones, with like the Scream Master stuff, I will watch them one time and get my laughs, but it's not a movie I'll go back and watch. That's what they turned Deadpool 2 in. I'll watch it to get the laughs, but I will never watch it again.
You know what it feels like? It feels like DC is trying. It's like DC and Marvel. They're back in the 50s, and they're trying to reboot their original characters to a new audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're in the 40s, both companies were a complete and utter failure. So 52, they did the reboot. And that's what we feel. It feels like now that they're trying to reinvent every character.
I hated New 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains that now.
But that's what New 52 was, because 1952 they had to reboot their entire characters or go back. They were facing bankruptcy because they only had 1 year left to go on their bank loan, and if they didn't pay the bills, that was it.
Okay, that explains that now why we had the New 52, why that term exists and everything.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Well, they had a lot of. There's been a lot of series like 52. There was actually a series of 52. The series was called 52, and you had 52 issues, and every issue came out for 52 weeks.
Really,
and that was a really good storyline.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they couldn't keep it up. They were running out of writers. They were burning through staff. Because don't forget, a lot of their inking jobs were handed out to the New York School of Arts.
Mm.
And every time they had graduations, they had to find a whole new set of students to exploit.
Jesus.
Because they weren't hiring. They couldn't. But yeah, the 52 issue thing was actually done for like 10 years, and then they did the New 52, and Marvel and DC stopped doing more collaborations. They stopped sharing inkers and stuff. One moved to the other side of the city. That's when comic books started to die. When it just became about the bottom line.
Well, you also got writers that have never picked up a comic book, hardly.
No, that's what I said. They were picking people out of the New York School of Arts. They had no choice because they weren't hiring. They were shells of companies. If they didn't have the New York School of Arts, they had nobody.
Yeah.
This is before Ethan Van Sciver and all those became full-time staff.
Well, right now they still. That's why it's one of the things they get by with too. All their in quote employees act awful on Twitter. They're not employees. They're contractors.
Yeah,
and they're not really doing comic books. They're PR staff hired to pretend to be comic book writers, and it's all PR. They do they do some of them do outlines and stuff like that, but they don't do all the work.
Hello.
Yeah, they work for like 3 days a week, and they spend the rest of their time on Twitter.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, they're PR. Some of them actually have PR in their pronouns.
Reach something growing.
When you've got to have PR in your pronouns, it's like, hello.
Really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah. You wonder how many people on Twitter are real and how many are just bots hired by Disney too.
Well, they need to make a new Spawn movie. Because I hate to say it, Spawn's the last one I have hope for.
It's another dead on arrival. It's in production hell like all the other good R-rated superheroes.
Well, Todd's doing a big push right now. They're going to do like the Spawn universe.
Ooh.
And they're
he has
not movie wise. That's in the comics. They're really doing a push. They're going to do a whole new figure line for Spawn figures, but I still don't like Todd McFarlane's figures.
Honestly, I should read some Spawn comics. I didn't really give it a chance when I was a kid, so I probably wouldn't have thought much about it, except for the cartoon.
Is it called New Spawn? You want to start with the modern Spawn. You want to start with the more recent comics.
Well, as long as they don't do like they did Hellboy. The first Hellboy, I loved it. The second
Yeah, but
one,
Perlman wanted to take the character in new directions. The producers couldn't get along. They had production hell too. But yeah, Spawn's stuck in production hell, and I wish they'd get out of it soon because Spawn has the potential. The same, but then again, they might go the way of the crow. You know what I mean? When they go mainstream, they go woke.
yeah, that's
Jesus.
Well, Tommy, did you see the cartoon that they did?
No.
Yeah, I think you'd like that. I think it's on Disney. I could be wrong. It might be on HBO Max. I'll have to look. I'll find it. It was really good.
Todd McFarlane owns Spawn. It's his property. It's his
Oh,
baby.
so it's not like Marvel or DC.
No, it's Todd McFarlane, the same guy that relaunched Spider-Man.
Oh.
Interesting. Anyways, gents, I'm gonna call it quits for tonight because I gotta go to sleep soon and get up. Plus my phone is burning up. But guys, it was fun chatting with y'all. I hope y'all have a good day, good week, or whatever it is that you guys do.
Great chat. See you, LMP.
All right, guys. Later.
Later.
All right, see you guys.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Well, ain't you been looking at your phone?
Oh,
No.
My phone's dead.
Oh my god, dude! Charge your freaking phone, dude. For real, like that's so stupid.
I'm on here. I wasn't trying to like.
My phone's
Go
plugged
find
into
my
the computer.
charger.
My phone's plugged in the computer, so it's charging right now.
I know. I was amazed. I got a text back from you when I sent you that message asking how the missus was doing. I was like, "Holy shit!" Tommy answered me.
Look at how little he made his character.
Alright, it's charging. It should cut on in a minute.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, shit. You know, it's early morning. What do you
What
expect to have?
point of having a phone do you even like? Like, what does it matter about having a phone? Like, why do you even have one?
I have one. It's 12 o'clock at night almost.
So plug it up.
I was on here.
My phone's been plugged up too, or it should have died like 3 hours ago.
I'm a collector. Mine's plugged into my computer right now. It's at 100%. So.
Like everybody loves the fact that City Heroes is back. It's like I can't believe I'm playing City Heroes in 2021. Again, I'm happy.
Hey,
this game was like one of these things that's like everybody used to play. It got bought out.
Yeah.
Then
It's
the
like Guild
owners,
Wars. Yeah.
the owners like a decommission ended up later on decommissioned the servers just so they could instead of buying new servers for a new game. The game was still popular. They just like, well, screw y'all, and we're just going to shut down and take the servers. Right. Then, in secret, the developers made a copy, and they've been playing it ever since. And they had like an NDA for people to sign up for it, just their friends and people, word of mouth thing.
Yeah.
And somebody just threw a hissy fit a couple of years ago and told the world that what was been going on. And
what a child!
So they opened it up for everybody. So now anybody can go play, and the company that bought them, they don't care, and they're making updates and patches to the game still. They like once a month they ask for like donations, and it's like within like 3 minutes they get their monthly goal, and that's just to keep the game running.
Good. That keeps it. That's real crowdfunding, but that's real loyalty there.
Yeah. As I got out of playing video games for a long time because this is like the only game of its kind, and where you can completely design your character from the ground up, control it, every aspect of how your character looks. And
yeah, I played Guild Wars for a long time. I bought the game for $10, and I played it. It was already 10 years old, right? Or I think close to 10 years old. I played it for a few years, and then all of a sudden, they flooded it with new content, and then 6 months later, shut down.
Oh, wow.
All right, so Tommy, did you get your phone plugged up?
Yeah, I see
Your
it.
text message?
Yeah.
All right.
So
But,
yeah,
I guess
came
you're
in.
leaving too.
Huh?
But I guess you're leaving too.
I mean, I can keep it up.
Well, I
Giggity.
mean,
That's not what she said.
ouch. It's like, cause I'm gonna have to bounce, dude. I'm tired.
Oh, you're fine.
So, like, do you got this? I'll just download it tomorrow.
All right.
Well,
I mean, you don't have y'all don't have to keep it going. It doesn't matter. All I
just
really wanted
ridiculous
was
I
behemoth.
mean, you can call
I
it,
can call
dude.
quits
I
after
mean,
that.
you both got to work. Collector, you off tomorrow?
I work from the office, so I'm good.
Right. Well, I was just gonna say because I was gonna say I know Ruse. It's daytime for him, so I'd have to worry about him.
Tommy and I, like we can both bounce in the stream, and then you three can stay in here as long, but y'all can't back out.
Yeah, once you back out, that's it. You can't get back in.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can go ahead and call it quits for the night too, though.
I mean, I'll call it quits now, and then that way, y'all can keep doing what you want to do.
Park my tune.
Yeah. So, check everybody out. Link will be in the description. See you.
If anybody ever wants to go on the City of Heroes, I play on Excelsior, the server.
Okay. All right. See you. Bye.